Chapter 908. Half an hour later, little Seven walked in with his hands clasped behind his back. His little chin was raised like a little rooster that had just won a battle. He was almost clucking. Auntie, he had already gone out to check on Shimin-Chi's situation. Seeing him lying on the ground with a smile on his face, she walked over and said, "You've been beaten silly." Shimin-Chi glanced at her and said with a chuckle, "That little fellow is really ruthless, but this is the first time I've been beaten up so comfortably. Looks like you're very happy to be beaten up." Aunt E went up and kicked him. Don't kick, it hurts." Shimin-Chi shouted. Can you get up?" Aunt E said as she kicked him again. I told you to stop kicking." Shimin-Chi shouted. To be able to shout so happily, that means it's still okay. Aunt E said, "Lier, let's go in." Hey, don't go, I can't get up." Shimin-Chi shouted. Sima Yue stood at the door and watched them interact with each other. She smiled faintly. Aunt E, little Seven, said that it's not convenient for Uncle Chi to move right now. It's best to get someone to carry him in. She walked over and took out a pill for Shimin-Chi to eat as she spoke. "All right, I'll go get someone." Andy went out after saying that. Soon, she came back with 2 people and a stretcher. The 2 men lifted Shimin-Chi onto a stretcher and brought him back to his courtyard. "Big sister, will Uncle Chi be all right?" Shimin-Li saw that he was beaten up so badly and asked. "I'm fine. I'll be fine in 2 days." Sima Yue said, "Let's go. I'll take a look at your body." Shimin-Li was a little nervous when she heard that he was going to show her body. "She's fine. Why do you want to see her?" Little Seven asked, puzzled. "When Mother was pregnant with Lier, I helped them recuperate. So, when Lier was born, she was already God-ranked." Sima Yue said, "But after so many years, she's still a beginner God-ranked. Her talent is very good. She shouldn't have not advanced after so many years. She was born a divine ranker." Little Seven took a deep breath and looked at Shimin-Li as if she was looking at a new continent. Not advancing for so many years, it is indeed a bit strange. Shimin-Fong said, "Lier, did you notice anything wrong when you were cultivating?" Shimin-Li shook her head and said, "No, but I don't know where the spirit energy went after it was absorbed into the body. So strange." Little Seven looked at her and said, "Is there a hole in your body?" Shimin-Li's face darkened. What did he mean by having a hole in his body? How could there be a hole in a person's body? Let me take a look at it for you. If there are any problems, it's better to solve them as soon as possible. Sima Yue recalled that her previous self could not cultivate because of the poison. If she had not met her rebirth, she would have been a useless person for the rest of her life. However, if she didn't cultivate for the rest of her life, then the seal on her god and devil body wouldn't have been lifted. At least she wouldn't be like now, worrying that her body would explode at any time. Then Lier, let big sister take a look. Shimin-Fong said. Yes. Previously, Shimin-Li was afraid that they would scold her for being lazy and not cultivating diligently, which was why her strength did not improve. Now that he saw that they didn't scold him, he wasn't nervous anymore. Sima Yue checked her body and didn't find any problems. After that, she asked her to try cultivating while she was checking her body. After a while, she finally stopped. Big sister, did you find a problem? Shimin-Fong asked. Sima Yue shook her head and said, Lier's body is very strange. There's no problem at all. However, as she said, the spirit energy that she absorbed into her body is gone. It seems like it was absorbed by something. Absorbed? Everyone in the room frowned. Does all the spirit energy go to the same place? Wu Lingyu asked. Yes. Sima Yue said. The spirit energy did not reach her spiritual ocean. Instead, it disappeared when it got close. It's all in the same place. Senior brother, do you know what's going on? When I was in the Sage Pavilion, I read a book. There was a sentence in it that was similar to her situation. What sentence? Those who leak it usually have a foreign object in their body. Wu Lingyu said, You're saying that there's a foreign object in Li Er's body. That thing absorbed Li Er's spirit energy. Shimin-Fong frowned. That's just a guess. Wu Lingyu said, You have to ask your sister whether it's true or not. Let me check again. Sima Yue said, Li Er, do it again. Shimonly nodded and entered a state of cultivation again. She let Sima Yoyue's divine sense enter her body. Sima Yoyue's divine sense turned into a small person and followed the spirit energy to her dantian. When it was about to reach the dantian, she felt a suction force sucking her and her spirit energy in. Before she could react, she was sucked into a dark place. Why is there such a place in Li Er's body? She thought. Xiao xiao. A strange sound attracted her attention. She followed the sound and saw that the spirit energy was being sucked into a white dough-like thing. That dough-like thing had no nose, mouth, or ears. It only had a pair of blinking eyes. There was indeed a foreign object. Sima Yue was shocked. How could there be such a foreign object in a human's body? When the dough-like thing saw Sima Yue, it immediately cried out. It seemed to be frightened. The dough-like thing revealed its facial features and looked at Sima Yue's divine sense in horror. You, who are you? How did you get here? You can even talk. Sima Yue walked over, but was stopped by something a meter away. Who are you? How did you get into my sister's body? Don't come over. The dough-like thing cried out. Even the owner of this body can't enter. How did you get in here? Sima Yue looked at the way it cried out. Its voice was cute, but she was not confused by its appearance. A parasitic thing that absorbed other people's spirit energy was definitely not a good thing. Answer my question first. How did you get here? Sima Yue asked. If you don't say it, I will destroy you immediately. I don't know. When I woke up, I was already here. The dough-like thing said. Were you? Sima Yue asked. I'm not a thing. No, you're not a thing. The dough-like thing subconsciously retorted. After retorting, it realized that it was wrong and angrily widened its eyes. Sima Yoyue's mouth twitched. Was this thing insensitive? She did not mean to scold it at first. Tell me, what are you? Why did you absorb my sister's spirit energy? If you continue to act pitiful when you die, do you believe that I will burn you to death? After speaking, she called out a wisp of Qian's flame and looked at the dough-like thing threateningly. Chapter 909. When Doe saw the flame on Sima Yue's hand, it shrieked and shrunk its body. Its facial features shrunk, and it really became a ball of dough. Please search to see the most complete. Update the fastest. Hide? If you don't tell me, I'll burn you to death. Sima Yue threatened. I'll tell you if you don't burn me. Little Doe said in a muffled voice. You come out first. Put away the fire first. Little Doe protested. When it saw the flames, it instinctively felt fear. Its intuition told it that the flames would really burn it to death. Seeing that Sima Yue did not move, Little Doe continued. I have a contract with your sister now. If I die, she will die too. Contract? If you did, how could my sister not know about it? Sima Yue did not believe it. Whoever I enter, that person will be my host. But I haven't formed yet, so of course she wouldn't know. Little Doe said, quickly retract the flame. Sima Yue saw how frightened it was and guessed that it would not dare to keep quiet. She put away the flame and said, tell me. Sensing the disappearance of the blazing flames, Little Doe popped out its two big eyes and looked around. After confirming that there was no danger, it revealed all its facial features and asked, what did you say? Sima Yue's lips twitched. She had the urge to send this guy flying. Let me ask you, why are you inside my sister's body? I told you, I don't know either. I woke up here. Little Doe stared at her innocently. What are you? She wanted to say, what are you? But when she thought how it looked just now, she changed her words. Are you a spirit beast? Yes. What spirit beast? I haven't formed yet, so I haven't received the inheritance. That's why I don't know. Why did you absorb my sister's spiritual energy? She's my host. I can only absorb spiritual energy from her body. His words were full of disdain. How could someone ask such a stupid question? Sima Yue resisted the urge to beat it up and continued to ask. You said that you and my sister are in a contractual relationship. How can you prove it? Don't say that you haven't formed yet. My sister can't feel this reason. This reason doesn't hold water. This is the only reason. Little Doe said. Really? Of course it's true. Since the relationship between the two of you is so weak that she can't even feel it, I'm sure she'll be fine even if I kill you. Sima Yue said, even if she gets hurt, I'm confident that I can heal her. If you don't believe me, you can give it a try. Sima Yue moved her finger as if she was about to summon flames again, scaring Little Doe. No, I have a way to make her feel it. Little Doe shouted. Oh, is there really one? There really is, but it will consume my energy. Little Doe said unwillingly. Then do it quickly, Sima Yue said. Little Doe twisted and turned, and no one knew what it was doing. After a while, it said, it's done. She can sense the bond between us. Sima Yue was not in a hurry to confirm this. She would know when she went out to ask Lear. You've absorbed all the spiritual energy that Lear absorbed all these years. Sima Yue asked. Yes. Little Doe said weakly. So all the spiritual energy has been absorbed by you. No wonder she hasn't improved after so many years. Sima Yue said. Little Doe heard this and felt sorry for its host, and its facial features shrunk back. How long more do you want to absorb? Sima Yue asked. Don't tell me she'll only raise you as a spiritual beast of unknown species? If that's the case, then there's no need for you to exist. Saying this, she wanted to summon flames again. No need. At most another 30 to 50 years will do. Little Doe quickly said, I'm very powerful. It'll be a pity to kill me. Little Doe quickly proved its usefulness and felt wronged. This fellow was much harder to deal with than its host. If it was in her body, she would have found out soon. Also, this fellow was too cruel. The murderous intent in its eyes showed that it really wanted to kill it. Its host was still kinder. 30 to 50 years is too long. Sima Yue said, she's cultivating now. If she wastes all her time on you, it'll be a waste. But I'll be very powerful after I've formed. Little Doe emphasized its usefulness. You'll have to be able to live until then. Sima Yue said, if you don't kill me, I'll be able to live until then. But you've wasted so many years of my sister's time, I don't want to keep you. You heartless fella, you don't think about your sister at all. To think she misses you so much, and cries whenever she thinks about you. Little Doe shouted, if you kill me, she'll be hurt. I can heal her, Sima Yue said calmly. She'll be sad. She doesn't even know you. She won't be sad. Little Doe didn't know what to say, and finally emphasized again, I'm very powerful. I didn't see it. I only saw you stealing her spiritual energy, causing her to waste so many years of effort. When I've formed, all this energy will be fed back to her, and it'll be doubled. Little Doe said excitedly, yes, when the time comes, I'll give her double the energy, so her efforts now won't be in vain. Sima Yue raised a brow. There is such a thing? How can I believe you? You won't believe anything I say now, but it's really like that. Little Doe said, is there any way? Sima Yue suddenly asked. What way? Proof? Little Doe asked. There's no way. You'll only see it when I've formed. I mean, a way to let you form earlier. Sima Yue said, don't you just need energy? As long as I give you energy, you should be able to form, right? Little Doe thought for a while and said, that seems to be the case, but I don't know how to do it. I know how to do it. Sima Yue said, I'll go out and think of a way to let you form earlier, but if you're lying, I'll let you have a taste of my flame. Do you want to try? I don't want to. Little Doe refused without thinking. Since you don't want to, then you better not lie to me. If you lie to me, Sima Yue gave it a, you know what I mean, look. I won't lie to you. Little Doe promised. I hope so. I'll go out and ask Lear. If she doesn't feel the contract, I'll come back to find you. After saying that, she dispersed her divine sense and disappeared in front of it. Little Doe made sure that she had really left. Then it heaved a sigh of relief. Then it felt wronged again. This fellow was so fierce, it scared it to death. Boo-hoo. Because of the shock before forming, it left a shadow in Little Doe's heart. After forming, it was still very scared when it saw Sima Yue. Yue was forever black in its heart. Toss. Chapter 9-10. equals when the spiritual consciousness dissipated from Sima Yuyue's body. Sima Yuyue opened her eyes. Have you found the reason? Shimin Feng asked. Sima Yue nodded and said, We'll talk about the details later. Let's wait for Li Er to wake up first. Under normal circumstances, spirit masters wouldn't cultivate in front of others because they would enter a different state when cultivating. If they were interrupted, it wouldn't be good for their cultivation. And it was also more dangerous. Shimin Li was not worried about Sima Yue and Shimin Feng. That was why she entered the cultivation state in front of them. Not long after Sima Yue finished speaking, Shimin Li woke up. She had sensed Yue's divine sense dissipating, but she was a little late because she had to finish this cycle. Big sister. She looked at Sima Yue. Li Er, do you feel a contract beast in your body? Sima Yue asked. Contract beast? When did Li Er have a contract beast? When she asked, Wu Ling Yu and the others didn't think much of it, but Aunt E, who had just come in, cried out in surprise. Shimin Li nodded and said, I can feel it. It does seem to have a special connection with some spirit beast. Yu, what's going on? Why would there be a contract beast in Li Er's body? And he asked, Li Er's strength hasn't improved for so many years, so I checked her body. Sima Yue said, I saw a dough ball in her body just now. It said that it had a contract with Li Er. The spiritual energy that Li Er absorbed in her body all these years was absorbed by it, so it didn't rise. There really is something. Little Seven shouted. Sima Yue nodded. Since we found the reason, then it's easy to handle. Shimin Feng said, but this contracted beast that absorbs spiritual energy, what is it? Inside Li Er's body. Little Doe couldn't help but roll her eyes. Why were these two siblings talking about things? It said that it hasn't formed yet, so it hasn't received the inheritance. It doesn't know what kind of spirit beast it is either. Sima Yue said, it's because it hasn't formed yet that Li Er can't feel its existence. That dough relies on absorbing Li Er's spiritual energy to gain strength. But if that's the case, what will happen to Li Er? Auntie said. Sima Yue told him the news that she had received. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief when they found out that it wasn't a permanent thing. Since I have time, at least I have something to look forward to. Aunt E said, and in the future, the feedback will be doubled, which means that the cultivation now is twice as fast as the future. Since that dough is absorbing Li Er's spiritual energy, then other methods should work too. Sima Yue said, pills or spirit stones that help with cultivation should work too. She didn't lack these things now. Let's try. Shimin Feng said. Yes. Sima Yue gave Shimin Li a spirit stone and told her to try cultivating it. Shimin Li took the spirit stone and began to absorb the spiritual energy contained in it. She felt that the spiritual energy disappeared after reaching her dantian. She stopped cultivating and said happily, This works. Then try this. Sima Yue took out a pill and gave it to her. Shimin Li ate the pill and closed her eyes to cultivate. She got the same result. Seems like it works. Sima Yue said, Then it's easy to do. I don't know what that contracted beast is. It's actually like this. Little Seven placed her hands on the table and said curiously, We'll know what it is when it forms. Sima Yue said, I'm curious and want to know sooner. Little Seven said, I'm really curious. Aunt E looked at Shimin Li. For so many years, they didn't know that she had a contracted beast in her body. Knowing that it wasn't that she couldn't advance, Shimin Li was very happy. She had a smile on her face the whole day. Because of something, Sima Yue stayed in the valley for a few days before leaving. She said that she would bring everyone over after settling Heartbreak Valley's matters. Before leaving, she took Shimin Li with her. Little Seven was still dressed like that, but Wu Ling Yu and Shimin Feng had changed their appearances, so people couldn't recognize their original identities. Wu Ling Yu didn't want others to recognize his identity and cause trouble. Shimin Feng did it to avoid the Zongjing clan and Yin Yang Palace's line of sight. On the way, Yue brought everyone to the Spirit Pagoda. When Shimin Li saw the scenery change at first, she thought that they had gone to Mo Lien Su. But upon closer inspection, she realized that this place was different from Su. Eldest sister, where is this? She asked in surprise when she saw the resources in the Spirit Pagoda. This is the Spirit Pagoda, my space. Sima Yue said. The spiritual energy here is denser, so time passes faster. 1 day outside is 10 days here. So cultivating here is twice the result with half the effort. Also, Little Spirit can directly give you whatever you need. It's much more convenient. Little Spirit, Shimin wanted to ask who Little Spirit was, but before she could ask, she saw a small child appear in front of them. She heard Sima Yue say to him, Little Spirit, Lear will be in closed-door cultivation here later. Pay attention to her situation. Okay, Yu, Little Spirit said. Seeing Shimin Li's curious eyes, Yue explained, Little Spirit is the Spirit Pagoda's artifact spirit, so he can fulfill any request you have here. There's actually an artifact spirit. You can slowly experience the wonders of the Spirit Pagoda later. Anyway, you have plenty of time in the future. Sima Yue said with a smile, There are still some people living here, but they are in closed-door cultivation right now. You will have a chance to see them later. They're my elders. I won't disturb them, Shimin Li said. Sima Yue brought her around the Spirit Pagoda and settled her down before leaving. When they returned to G City, they went to Memory Restaurant. Chinamo also introduced her to the shopkeeper here. In the future, she would need to rely on them to do a lot of things in G City. Now that she knew them, it would be convenient for her to instruct them in the future. Why don't I call all the shopkeepers in the nearby cities over? Chinamo said. No need. If there's anything, I can look for the people here. You're so busy, but you've already accompanied me for so many days. I'm already very grateful. Sima Yue declined politely. It's okay if it's a few more days. If you want to build your power here, there will be a lot of things for them to do in the future. Chinamo insisted and asked someone to call all the shopkeepers of Memory Restaurant over. Sima Yue originally only came to ask Shi Qianji to go to Heartbreak Valley. She didn't expect it to become a meeting between her and the shopkeepers of Memory Restaurant. When she met them and left for Heartbreak Valley, it was already a few days later. Chinamo went back. Although he wanted to go with her to solve the problem of Heartbreak Valley, he had some problems in the Qin family recently. There were more things to do, so he had to go back. Sima Yue sent him off and went to Heartbreak Valley with Shi Qianji. Chapter 9-11. Returning to Heartbreak Valley again, Sima Yue's mood was obviously different from the last time. Please visit. Her mood was heavy before, mostly due to guilt. This time, she was thinking more about solving this problem. Everyone should work together to build a force and take revenge for the family. Shi Qianji had come here before to collect poison, so he was familiar with the place. Let's go down and take a look, Sima Yue said. Shi Qianji nodded. This place changed rapidly, so it was better to take a look again. After all, this place was too dangerous. Since we want to develop the antidote, it's better to go down. I think so too, Sima Yue said. Feng, don't go down. Shimin Feng nodded. If he went down, he would be a burden to them. It was better to wait for them up there. All right, go and see how San Yang's matter is going. If it's done, bring her over. There's something good for her here, Sima Yue added. You mean the 9-turned snow silkworm? Shimin Feng asked. Didn't you say that the 9-turned snow silkworm is in Heartbreak Valley? When we go down this time, find time to go and take a look, Sima Yue said. Okay, I'll go find San Yang. You don't have to rush back immediately. We're not that fast. I got it, Shimin Feng replied and turned to leave. Fenger, wait a minute, Sima Yue said. Bring Little Rock. Yue called out Little Rock and asked him to come along. This place was not far from Zhongzheng Clan and Weiyang Palace. If there was any danger, Little Rock could find help and tell her through the contract. Shimin Feng did not refuse. If this could make her feel more at ease, he was willing. Shi Qianji looked at Little Rock's back and said, This is your king of rocks? It's domineering. Sima Yue glanced at him and said, You can try if it's domineering. Oh no. Shi Qianji quickly shook his head. This king of rocks was not very strong now, but if he found a group of birds, how could he be his opponent? Let's go, Wu Lingyu said. The four of them flew down the cliff together and landed at the same place as before. They followed the same route as last time and walked around the outer and middle circle. When they passed by the pool, The toad inside was so scared that it stuck to the bottom of the pool, not daring to come out. After walking one round, Shi Qianji roughly understood the area she needed. "You're not going to the inner circle, right?" he asked. "I'm not going," Sima Yue said. "The poison in the inner region is too high. Now that we don't have much time, we only need to clear the outer and middle regions. As for the inner circle, we'll do it when we have time. That makes things easier," Shi Qianji said. "I haven't studied the poison in the inner circle. If I want to do it, it won't be done in 1 or 2 years." "I know. We just need to go to the front," Sima Yue said. "I've studied the poison in the middle and outer regions before." "Do you have any requests?" Shi Qianji asked. "It's better if it's simple. We don't need an antidote for each poison barrier. They'll be too busy eating the antidote," Sima Yue said. "There's so many of them. It's impossible to do it all together." Shi Qianji said, I think it'll be divided into a few areas. I can accept a few as long as it's not too many." Sima Yue said, "It's best if it's the kind that won't clash with the medicinal properties. For example, we can eat it together and walk around after eating it. There's a certain level of difficulty, but it's not impossible. It'll just take a long time," Shi Qianji said. "If you're willing to wait, that's fine too." "How long will it take?" "If I'm alone, it'll take about a year," Shi Qianji said. "If you're with me, I don't think it'll be 1 + 1 = 2. Jiang Junxian said before that she was well-versed in poison techniques. Judging from his tone, her poison techniques should not be low. She calculated the time and said, "I have 10 months now. If I need 1 month to settle things, I can only have 9 months at most. Otherwise, you'll be the only one researching here." Shi Qianji stared at her. Why did he feel like he was being abandoned? "Then when do we start?" "Any time is fine. I brought all my things," Shi Qianji said. "When do you think we should start?" "Then let's start now." Sima Yue also wanted to start earlier. Since there was someone familiar leading the way, it shouldn't be difficult to solve this problem. The development of the situation was just as she expected. Shi Qianji's poison techniques were indeed very powerful. In addition, he had done some research on this place. With her around, what should have taken a year was solved in half a year. In the temporary laboratory, 8 antidotes of different sizes and colors were placed on the table in the middle. Now, there are 8 areas and 8 types of antidotes. If you want to combine these antidotes, it's possible, Shi Qianji said as he looked at the antidotes. Sima Yue didn't expect the antidotes to be developed so quickly. She was very impressed with Shi Qianji's ability. "Let's combine them again," Sima Yue said. "Let's use another month. If we succeed, we can reduce the number of antidotes by half. If not, we can accept 8 antidotes." Shi Qianji actually felt that this was enough. However, thinking about how they wanted to establish their power, if there were more people in the future, this antidote would indeed be a troublesome matter. Since she had already made the request, he could only comply. Combining the antidotes was even more troublesome than directly researching the antidotes in each area. This was because they had to consider the problem of the conflicting properties. Both of them were responsible for it. They spent 1.5 months to reduce the number of antidotes from 8 to 4. Sima Yue was very satisfied with this result. She looked at Shi Qianji and said gratefully, "Thank you. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have solved the problem of the antidotes so quickly." "You're welcome. If you really want to thank me, next time when I come to find you to research poison techniques, don't lock me out of the sect," Shi Qianji said. Hee. If I have time, I definitely won't reject you. If I don't have time, then forget it," Sima Yue added in her heart. "Then your smile isn't sincere," Shi Qianji said. "Since the problem of the antidotes has been solved, I won't participate in the remaining matters. I will go to the inner region to collect some poison and return." "All right." Sima Yue did not urge him to stay. She still had a lot of things to do. With him by her side, it was indeed not easy to do them. "Goodbye." "Wait a minute," Sima Yue called out to him. "Is there anything else?" Shi Qianji turned back and asked. Sima Yue thought for a while and said, "Since your sect leader is your master and also Qiu Shuang's father, I have one more thing to say. The Sky Splitter Devil Sword is not that easy to control. Its demonic nature has not recovered yet. If your master can't control the demonic nature of the sword, he might become a killing machine. I won't tell anyone about this within the time limit we agreed on. However, it's best that you don't leave it in the sect. Otherwise, it might lead to a calamity. Chapter 912. Crazy Wife. 5th Miss Godly Doctor. Chapter 912. Kicking the Ball. Chapter 912. Kicking the Ball. Type. Transmigration author. Book title. Sure, Qianji looked into Sima Yoyue's eyes. He did not expect her to stop him to say this. No pop-up window. I will pass this message on. Sima Yue heard his words and knew that he did not take her words seriously. However, she could not do anything now. The Sky Splitter had appeared, and Ling Long could not display her powers because of her. If people knew that Ling Long was with her, those so-called righteous people would immediately kill her and remove her relationship with Ling Long. They would snatch her away and fight for justice. The temptation of the Sky Splitter was too great. As long as one had the desire, they would not be able to resist it. Hence, she could not force them to give up. I was just giving a suggestion. I know your good intentions. Thank you. Goodbye. After Qianji finished speaking, he turned around and flew towards the inner regions. Sima Yue waited for him to leave before turning her attention to the antidote. After thinking for a while, she kept the antidote and turned around to enter the Spirit Pagoda. Half a month later, when she came out again, there was only one antidote left. She took out the Mother-Son Stone and contacted Wu Lingyu. Very quickly, he and Little Seven came back together. Yu, we're back. Little Seven opened the tent's curtains and ran in. Sure, Qianji left. Has the antidote been developed? It has, but we still need to find someone to confirm its effects. Sima Yue said. Let me do it. Wu Lingyu said. Sima Yue shook her head. Your body has the characteristics of the demon clan. You can't do it. You can't do it either. Sima Yue looked at Little Seven and said, your body can run around without the antidote. It would be a waste to give you the antidote. Little Seven rubbed her nose. Yeah, she seemed to be right. Then we have to find someone to test the antidote. This antidote should be fine under normal circumstances, but just to be sure, it's better to try it on someone. Let Feng Kai and the others come back. We can capture a person from the Zhongzhang clan. Sima Yue said. This is a good idea. Little Seven clapped her hands in approval. Sima Yue did as she said. She contacted Feng Kai and the others and told them that they could come back. She also asked them to bring someone back. Nika City was indeed not far from here. They came back a day later with a man in white in their hands. The man lost consciousness and was carried in the hand like a small child. Sima Yoyue's pupils constricted when she saw that person. Boss, you know him? And he asked. There aren't many people in the Zhongzhang clan that I don't know. Sima Yue said, he's the young master of a side branch of the Zhongzhang clan, Zhongzhang Luo. He was there that night as well. Damn, we caught an enemy all of a sudden. And he said, Boss, why did you ask us to catch him? To test the medicine. Sima Yue said, wake him up. Kongren took out a bottle of antidote and sniffed it under Zhongzhang Luo's nose. He sniffed, frowned, and woke up. His consciousness quickly came back. Zhongzhang Luo remembered that he just came out of his house and turned into a small alley. He saw someone blocking the way. Then he fainted. Now that he had appeared in an unfamiliar place, he must have been brought here by them. He jumped up from the ground and looked at all the strangers. He asked, who are you? Why did you bring me here? Be careful that I don't chop off your heads. And he went up and kicked him. Then he fell heavily on the ground. Who do you think you are? You want to chop off our heads? Do you believe that I can chop off your hands with one slash? It hurts. Zhongzhang Luo held his stomach and stood up. He looked at them. Each of them exuded a strong, killing intent. He said timidly, I have no grievances with you. What do you want to do with me? What do you want? We could discuss it. With this kick, he didn't call himself a master anymore. His attitude also softened. Zhongzhang Luo, you're still the same. You bully the weak and fear the strong. Sima Yue said, who are you? I don't know you. Zhongzhang Luo looked at Sima Yue. He thought about it in his mind. He really couldn't remember when he knew such a person. Is that so? It doesn't matter if you don't know me. I know you. Sima Yue said. Then why did you bring me here? What do you want? Our Zhongzheng family has money. Zhongzheng Luo asked. Can't you see? Sima Yue sneered at him and said, I'm not interested in your family's money. I'm interested in your life. Zhongzheng Luo had a bad premonition. He forced a smile and said, We don't know each other. We have no grievances. Why would you want my life? Then you have no grievances with the Shiman family. Why did you exterminate their family? Sima Yue suddenly flipped out. Her figure flashed and teleported to his side. She grabbed his shoulders and pressed him down. She lifted her right knee and kicked him in the stomach. Ouch! Zhongzheng Luo screamed. He didn't have time to resist. Sima Yue threw him out again. Little Seven flew up and kicked him towards Wu Lingyu. Catch! Wu Lingyu didn't want to participate in such a boring game. But he remembered that this person had participated in the extermination of the Shiman family. He thought of Yue's red eyes. He couldn't kill this person. He could only kick him to vent his anger. The person flew over. He kicked him out. The person flew in front of Shi Chen again. Shi Chen's eyes flashed with hostility. When they went to investigate, they knew what the Zhongzheng family did to the Shiman family. Although he didn't know the relationship between Yue and the Shiman family, from the relationship between her and Shiman Feng, it was definitely not bad. The Shiman family was exterminated. Zhongzheng Luo was directly involved. This person deserved to die. Thinking of this, he didn't kick him out immediately. Instead, he grabbed him and grabbed his right wrist. His hand immediately dropped down. On my hand! Zhongzheng Luo screamed. But before he finished, he was thrown out. Sima Yue didn't expect them to play a game of kicking a ball. She didn't expect that Shi Chen, who looked so gentle and quiet, would be so agile. Thinking about it, none of the 10 brothers were merciful or soft-hearted. If they were, they wouldn't be able to survive until now under the situation of being chased by the world. I'll do it. And he shouted. He flew into the air and grabbed Zhongzheng Luo. He crippled his other hand and threw him out. Well, why, you bad guys? You crippled people without discussing with me. I want to do it too. This time I'll break 2 of his ribs. Little Seven said and flew up again. Poor Zhongzheng Luo didn't know anything. His limbs were crippled, his bones were broken, and he was kicked around like a ball. Chapter 9:13. From the beginning to the end, Sima Yue watched from the side, watching them vent their anger for her. She watched as Zhongzheng Luo was beaten black and blue like a pile of mud. Wu Lingyu stood beside her and watched with her. It was some time before she stopped them. After everyone vented their anger, Zhongzheng Luo only had 1 breath left. Sima Yue had already calmed down. She shook her head and said, You guys beat him up to this extent and even wasted pills to heal him. Isn't he still breathing? Let him eat it and throw it down. Little Seven said, It's best to let the person who took the medicine stay down there for a few days to make sure there's no problem. Sima Yue said, But with his current condition, I'm afraid he won't be able to last 2 days. If this isn't wasting my healing pills, then what is it? Hee, I was a little too harsh. And smiled at Sima Yue. He no longer looked as ferocious as before. Sima Yue laughed and shook her head. She walked over and stuffed a pill into his mouth. Zhongzheng Luo had already lost consciousness. When he smelled the scent of the healing pill, he swallowed it subconsciously. The pill that Yu gave him was the worst out of all the pills she had. Even so, the pill was still considered to be very good in the outside world. After Zhongzheng Luo ate the pill, he quickly woke up. Although his body was still in pain, it was much better. He saw a pair of boots in front of him. He raised his head and met Sima Yue's murderous eyes. Who are you? Why are you doing this to me? He couldn't figure it out. Sima Yue squatted down and said, Didn't I tell you just now? If you can kill people for no reason, so can we. Zhongzheng Luo's pupil shrank. She really intended to kill him. No, don't kill me. I'll give you whatever you want. Really, my Zhongzheng clan is very strong. Do you think I care about your Zhongzheng clan's things? Sima Yue said, Tell me, how many of the things you're enjoying right now were stolen from the Shimin family. You are a member of Shimin clan? Who are you? I've never seen you before. Zhongzheng Luo said. How many people of Shimin clan have you seen? That's right. You had once followed them to the Shimin clan and used the excuse of sightseeing to walk around. You should have seen many people of the Shimin clan. Speaking of which, we are old acquaintances. Old acquaintance? Zhongzheng Luo narrowed his eyes. He thought for a while and said, Impossible. I've never seen you before. Who are you? I'll tell you who I am before you die. Sima Yue leaned in front of him and sneered. You should focus on recuperating now. When Zhongzheng Luo saw her smile, he felt as if he had fallen into an ice cellar, and his whole body turned cold. He felt as if he had seen the Grim Reaper. A thick aura of death surrounded her. No, you can't kill me. If you kill me, my family won't let you off. He screamed, but no one paid any attention to him. Sima Yue stuffed the antidote into his mouth, stood up and said, Let's go down. He stepped forward, grabbed Zhongzheng Luo's clothes and lifted him up, saying, I really want to throw him down. Zhongzheng Luo's face turned pale when he heard it. It wasn't far from Nika City. He naturally knew where it was. If he was thrown down, he would be poisoned to death even if he didn't fall to his death. Don't kill him. Boss still needs him. Sure, Qin reminded. I know. I'm just saying. And E said, the antidote hasn't been tested yet. You guys wait up there. Wu Lingyu took Zhongzheng Luo and Yue flew down. Zhongzheng Luo began to scream when he saw the poison barrier, but he didn't show any signs of being poisoned after passing through the poison barrier. They took him around the periphery and the middle, and then found a place to stop. 3 days later, he was still alive. Moreover, due to the effects of the healing pills, his injuries from the previous beating had all healed. Zhongzheng Luo didn't expect that he would be fine after staying in Heartbreak Valley for so many days. He was secretly happy. Thinking of the antidote experiment they mentioned before, he guessed that the antidote should have worked. He didn't expect that someone could develop an antidote to the Heartbreak Valley's poison miasma. He wanted to sneak away while Yue and the others were talking, but before he flew 2 meters away, there was a piercing pain in his leg. He screamed and looked down. His right foot had turned into ashes. A ball of flame slowly burned up from his right foot. The pain made him lose his balance and fall from the air. Sima Yue walked over, playing with a bunch of flames in her hand. Why aren't you running away? She asked faintly. Zhongzheng Luo looked at his leg, getting shorter and shorter in horror. He used his spiritual power to try to extinguish the flame, but it burned faster and faster. Who the hell are you? Why are you doing this to me? Sima Yue sneered. I said, we are old acquaintances. I still remember you. Why don't you recognize me? Impossible. It's impossible for me to know you. The people of the Shimin family are all dead. Who are you? Where did the devil come from? Zhongzheng Luo was in so much pain that he couldn't speak. Devil? Sima Yue chewed on these 2 words, and then smiled. Yes, I'm a devil, a vengeful devil. Since I'm a devil, I naturally crawled out of hell. The flame burned his right leg. Sima Yue waved her hand, and the flame went to his left leg. It started to burn from the foot and went up little by little. Zhongzheng Luo was about to collapse. Why? Why did this person do this to me? Are you wondering why? Sima Yue sat beside him and said, Zhongzheng Luo, let me remind you. I'm the person you have always disliked and wanted to kill. Once when I went to your Zhongzheng family, you challenged me. Unfortunately, I broke your leg in the end. Zhongzheng Luo thought about what she said. He thought about all the things in the past. The only person who broke his leg in the Zhongzheng family was that person. He suddenly raised his head and looked at Sima Yue. He looked at her in disbelief. You are? Shimin Yue. It seems that I left a deep impression on you. Sima Yue said. No, impossible. You're already dead. How can you be alive? Zhongzheng Luo kept shaking his head. He didn't believe that she was Shimin Yue. Yes, I'm already dead. I went to hell, so I said that I crawled out of hell. Sima Yue said, You're talking nonsense. Shimin Yue's soul has already scattered. Tell me, who are you? Sima Yue sneered. Scattered soul? Ha ha. Yes, my soul almost scattered. Unfortunately, The genius in your family didn't succeed. She wanted to refine my soul, but my soul was reborn. Maybe the reason why I can come back to take revenge on you is because of her artifact. Tell me, should I thank her? Crazy wife. The fifth miss of the divine, Dr. Crazy Wife. Fifth miss godly, Dr. Crazy Wife. Fifth miss godly doctor update, list percent 20 crazy wife. Fifth miss godly doctor update, list crazy wife. Divine doctor, fifth miss percent 20 crazy wife. Fifth miss godly doctor. Chapter 9:14. Zhongjun Luo was shocked speechless. The entire Zhongjun clan knew that Zhongjun Han Yu used the soul-locking lamp to refine Sima Yoyue's soul. However, this was a secret of the Zhongjun clan, and no one else knew about it. Unless it was Shimin Yue, the party involved. She's really Shimin Yue, it's funny. Zhongjun clan and Shimin clan had always been opposing each other, but I foolishly believed that my acquaintance with her was accidental, and my sisterhood with her was real. I always thought that she was different from the rest of your family, and that we could really be friends. What do you mean by geniuses appreciating each other? I'm just too naive, and I actually accepted her gift, the most vicious gift in the world. Zhongjun Luo looked at the smile on Sima Yoyue's face. It was as if he saw a devil destroying their entire family. The fear in his eyes was magnified, and he ignored the pain in his body. Sima Yue looked at the fear in his eyes with satisfaction and continued. You're very surprised to know that I'm back. Don't worry. I'll start my revenge journey as you wish, and you'll be the first person I kill. You don't have to be sad. You'll be able to see your family soon. They will go down to accompany you. Zhongjun Luo opened his mouth, but he still couldn't say anything. He was too shocked and terrified. He looked at her face and believed her words from the bottom of his heart. She's here for revenge. Now that you know the truth, you can go in peace. Sima Yue said, but since you know the truth, I can't let you go to the ghost realm. But you can watch from heaven how your family is destroyed. What do you mean? What do I mean? You will soon understand. Sima Yue smiled brightly, but Zhongjun Luo's heart turned cold. Yue no longer controlled the speed of the flames. In just a breath's time, he was burned to ashes. When his soul was engulfed by the flames, he finally understood what Sima Yue meant. She wanted to burn him to ashes so that he would not even have the chance to go to the ghost realm. I didn't think that Crimson Flame's flames could actually burn souls. Little Seven blinked and said, It always works, but I've never used it before. Sima Yue said, This is the first time. Do you think I'm being too cruel? Little Seven shook her head. What they did to you is much crueler than this. Since the antidote has been cured, let's go up and tell them. Yes, let them come down and take a look. I'll go refine some antidotes first. Sima Yue went to the Spirit Pagoda and spent 10 days refining hundreds of antidotes. They returned to the surface and distributed the antidote to Feng Kai and the others. Then, they went down together and finally determined the location of the sect. It was the first time Feng Kai and the others had entered Heartbreak Valley. They had heard of the reputation of this place before, but they had never been here. Along the way just now, we passed through several miasma. If it wasn't for the antidote, I'm afraid we would have been poisoned to death at the beginning. He said, the antidote for each place is not the most difficult. Kong Ren said, the most difficult thing is to develop an antidote for hundreds of poisons. They only took one antidote and they could walk around, indicating that the antidote was useful for any miasma. Sima Yue took them around and said, the poison in the inner region is stronger and not easy to break through, so we can only build the sect in the middle region. Even in the middle region, no one can come here usually. Kong Ren said, ordinary people will die if they get close. Those poison masters can only wander around the periphery. There are very few people who can come here like this in the middle region. That's right, the inner region is enough. Shurchen said, what we want is temporary protection. When we are strong enough, even if others find us, they won't dare to do anything to us. When a sect is built, we will use the array to protect outside. Those people break the natural barrier of Heartbreak Valley. We still have the array to protect us. Feng Kai said, Since no one has any objections, then let's decide on the final location. Sima Yue said, we can just choose one. Why do we have to choose one? Little 7 didn't understand. We can use the topography and geography to set up a more suitable array. Choose a place that is more spacious and suitable for building a house, and also suitable for setting up an array. Sima Yue explained. Oh, all right. Then let's walk around again. Little 7 said. Boss, you should have already chosen a place in your heart, right? UC said. There are a few places, but I didn't make a final comparison. Sima Yue said. Then let's go take a look. Everyone walked around again, and finally decided on a relatively large valley as the location of their sect. Feng Ji frowned in confusion. What's wrong, big brother? Feng Ji looked at Sima Yue and asked, Boss, why didn't we see those poisonous creatures after walking for so long in the middle region? You guys solved this problem too. Sima Yue then noticed that ever since they came down, they hadn't met any strong poisonous creatures. She shifted her gaze to Wu Lingyu. Wu Lingyu said, You and Shi Qianji spent so much time researching the antidote. Little 7 and I had nothing to do, so we walked around the middle region. So, we've already taken care of those poisonous creatures, and we've also told them that we'll build a sect here in the future. We asked them to keep their eyes open and not hurt our people. They all agreed. Little 7 smiled and said, You guys actually secretly solved this problem. Sima Yue didn't notice them when she was researching the antidote. She didn't expect them to go and deal with those poisonous creatures. We even went to the inner region. Little 7 said, The poisonous creatures in the inner region are stronger, but they can't beat Brother Lingyu and I. With the two of us together, we're invincible. She didn't forget to praise herself after that. There are a few fiercer ones in the inner region. They said that as long as our people don't go in and provoke them, they won't come out to attack us. Wu Lingyu added, Thank you. Yuo was in a good mood, as the problem that gave her a headache was solved just like that. Why did you guys think of looking for those poisonous creatures? Brother Lingyu said it. Little 7 said, He said that since you solved the problem of the poison barrier, we'll solve the problem of the poisonous creatures, so that you won't have to waste time and effort to solve this problem after researching the antidote. Thank you, senior brother. Sima Yue looked at Wu Lingyu gratefully. Do you still need to thank me? Wu Lingyu said. Sima Yue smiled and didn't dwell on this. She said to Feng Kai and the rest, You guys build some houses here these few days. I'm going to pick up some people. They'll live with everyone in the future. Yes, boss. Yes, boss. Chapter 9:15. There were many poisonous plants and flowers in Heartbreak Valley, but there were also normal trees. It was not difficult for them to build houses. When the spirit beasts were summoned, one of them was equivalent to dozens of people. Some were chopping trees, some were chiseling stones, and some were repairing stones. Everyone was working in full swing. Shi Chun and Feng Kai were laying the foundation in the valley. The two of them chatted while resting. I really didn't think that there would be a day where we would settle down. Feng Kai sighed. In order to build the house, they had dug out a lot of foundations. The hillside was still full of potholes, and the stones and wood that they had brought back were placed randomly. The whole valley looked messy. But even so, this scene still felt warm in their eyes. They had had enough of licking blood from their blades. In the past, as long as they settled down, it wouldn't be long before they were discovered and hunted down, causing their hands to be stained with blood. Later on, they gradually gave up on the idea of settling down and always wandered around the various cities or forests. Now, he could finally settle down. Yes, I really didn't expect it. Shi Chun said. He had thought of clearing everyone's names, but this path was too difficult. It was so difficult that he didn't know how to do it. He still remembered the words that Sima Yue had once said to him. She said, On this continent, the method of bleaching won't work. On this continent, there was also killing and becoming stronger. As long as one became stronger, so strong that no one would dare to touch them, those people would naturally not dare to come again. Only by becoming strong can you truly live the life you want. She also said, if one person's strength is not strong enough, then gather the strength of a group. Stagnant water can always form a sea. Now that he thought about it, her idea was more practical. There are so many unexpected things. Yusi walked over and said, "In the past, I never thought that we would be subdued by a single person. I never thought that we would call someone who is only a fraction of our age boss. Isn't that the case now? I think our current life is pretty good." And E commanded the spirit beasts to place the stones they brought back next to the foundation. When he overheard their conversation, he interrupted. "In the past, our lives were somewhat aimless. Other than resisting the pursuit, we were also avoiding the pursuit. Thinking about it, it was also a little muddling along. Now that we've settled down, everyone will have more time to cultivate in the future. It seems like everyone feels that this kind of life is not bad." Feng Ji said, "This way, at least our decision is correct. But sometimes when I think about Boss, I still feel a little hurt." Hong Wu said, "She's simply a freak. I don't think any of the geniuses in the inner regions can compare to her. Boss must have had a fortuitous encounter that ordinary people don't have. Otherwise, it's impossible for her to have such achievements at her age." Feng Ji said, "But she's ruthless to herself. That time in the dark forest, so many monarch rank experts came to oppress her. If it were us, I'm afraid we wouldn't have any room to retaliate. But even if she dragged everyone to hell with her, she wouldn't compromise. Speaking of which, I think it's good to follow Boss." And he said, "She did that to protect her friends. This shows that Boss is a person who values friendship and loyalty." "That's right. I agree. Dai thought so too. I don't know what's the relationship between Boss, Zhongzheng clan, and Shimen clan. I always feel that Boss is hiding a lot of secrets. When Boss is willing to tell us, she will naturally tell us." Shurchun said, "I think Boss has more than one secret. No matter what secret Boss is hiding, I still prefer the domineering her. Seeing the sadness emitted from her body makes one's heart ache." And E said, "If there weren't those things, Boss wouldn't make herself work so hard." Hong Wu said, "Anyway, I've already followed her. I'll understand her more in the future." Feng Kai said, "Boss said they were going to pick someone up. Who are they going to pick up? Won't we know when they come back?" "They said 2 or 3 days. They should be back soon. Everyone should work harder. Don't wait for Boss and the others to come back. This place will still be like this." Work. When Sima Yue came back, she saw everyone working in full swing. "Young master, this is the middle region of Heartbreak Valley." A group of people came out of the space tunnel. They didn't feel any discomfort after taking the antidote. "Yes, this is where everyone will live in the future." Sima Yue said, "The houses here aren't built yet. Everyone has to help." Everyone looked down. There were only a few potholes in the entire valley. Not a single house had been built yet. Sima Yue walked down and saw that there were potholes everywhere. Feng Kai and the others looked at her awkwardly. "Why is it like this?" Sima Yue asked. "Well, we don't know how to build houses, so we can only move things back and lay the foundation," Shurchin said embarrassedly. Uffed. Little Seven laughed out loud and said, "I thought you guys were omnipotent. So you guys are also stumped by this kind of thing. Do you know how to?" Little Seven stopped laughing and said, "Honestly, I don't know how to." Sima Yue smiled and said, "Although Feng Kai and the others are very capable, they have their own specializations. They might not know how to do this." Yes. Boss is right." And he nodded in agreement. She was right. They had their own specializations. No one specialized in building houses. Sima Yue continued, "We'll talk about building houses later. Let me introduce you guys. This is Uncle Chi, Aunt E, and the others. They are all from the Shimen family. They are my and Feng Er's relatives. Uncle Chi, this is Feng Ji, Feng Kai, and the others. You guys should have heard of them. They're the famous top 10 evildoers in the primordial lands." Both sides nodded. They knew each other. Shimen Chi had some doubts in his heart. He didn't know why Sima Yue was with the top 10 evildoers. But since she said that they were on the same side, he could ask her if he had any questions later. Sima Yue knew what Shimen Chi was thinking when she saw his expression. The Shimen family used to be a righteous family and wouldn't be with those evil people. Now that she saw Feng Kai and the others, she naturally couldn't accept it. Uncle Chi, Feng Kai and the others are very good people. You'll know after you get to know them. Sima Yuyue said, the people our sect will accept in the future won't be people like them who are implicated by their reputation. There might be real evildoers in the future. What's wrong with you? Shimin Chi was shocked. She didn't say this before. Uncle Chi, I know you can't accept it in your heart, but I have my reasons. Sima Yuyue said, you have to believe me. I won't form an evil sect to harm the world. Chapter 9:16. I believe that you won't do anything bad, but if the people in the sect are all evil people in the future, I'm afraid that they will use the sect to do evil. Shimin Chi said, I will swear an oath before I let them join. I can't control them, but the laws of heaven and earth can. Sima Yue said, this method is indeed feasible, but will those who join be willing? Annie asked. Spirit masters were all very arrogant. If they were asked to swear an oath, they might not be willing. I won't ask them to make any excessive oaths. I only ask them not to rape and rob in the future, and not to take the initiative to do evil. Sima Yue said, if anyone is unwilling, then don't take them. In fact, many people don't do evil willingly. Some are forced to do it, and some can't help it. I'm sure you can handle it, Simenik said. Big Sister said that if we want to take revenge in the future, we can't casually drag others down with us. Those who want to join must tell us that there will be a battle in the future. If you're not willing, I won't force you. Shimonli said. When Sima Yue returned, she called Shimonli out. After this period of cultivation, she could clearly feel that little Do's strength was increasing. Yue has always done things appropriately. Aunt E said, all right, big brother, where's second brother? Shimonli looked around and didn't see Shimin Feng, so she asked. When she went back, she thought that Shimin Feng stayed here to build a house, but there was no one here. Feng, I went to pick up Sanyang. Sima Yue said, I contacted Little Rock earlier, and he said that they're already on their way back. They should be here soon. Are we going to see Sanyang? Shimonli grabbed Sima Yue's hand excitedly. I haven't seen third aunt for so many years. I miss her too. I miss you too. Little Roar poked his head out from her embrace and said with his round eyes, what a beauty. I haven't seen her in a long time. Sima Yue saw Little Roar's lecherous look and pulled him out of Shimin Li's embrace and threw him to the back. She really didn't want to look at him. Her eyes hurt. Third Madam brought back some embroiderers this time. The spirit cloth industry will be one of our pillars in the future. Sima Yue said, we need to recruit more masters from other professions. Shimin Chi said, if we want to develop a sect, we need more professions. We have alchemy, weapon refinement, array formation, beast taming, and seeker spirit masters. Although the number is small, we are still in the early stages and do not have high requirements for these. Sima Yue said, I feel that what we should do now is to build a house. Little Seven said, I'll ask Grandpa and the others to come out and help. Sima Yue said, there's strength in numbers. If we're talking about building houses, the best builders are still the gnomes. Wu Lingyu said, the houses they build are the most stable and reliable. The gnomes are the best at weapon refinement and building. Sima Yue frowned. Isn't this a small race in the legends? This race doesn't even exist now. Who says it doesn't exist? Wu Lingyu smiled and said, since it's a legend, then it really existed. Maybe some have already disappeared, but some have been passed down. Really? You've seen them before? What do they look like? Shimonli looked at him curiously. Wu Lingyu still gave face to his future sister-in-law and patiently explained to her, they don't look too different from us. They have eyes, nose, and ears. It's just that they are much shorter than us, and their palms are much thicker. If there really are gnomes, we can find them. I heard that they're natural weapon refinement masters. The spirit weapons they create are beautiful and powerful. Sima Yue said. When she said the word powerful, a thought flashed through her mind. Yu, do you want them? Wu Lingyu asked. You know where to find them? Sima Yue's eyes lit up. Wu Lingyu liked seeing her eyes. They were sparkling and bright, so bright that it reached his heart. If you want, I know where to find the vestigial clan. We can try. Whether it will work or not, I don't dare to guarantee. Wu Lingyu said, Vestigial clan? If there's time, we'll go look for them. Sima Yue said, let's forget about it for now. Let's just build our own houses to live in. We'll talk about those big buildings later. Uncle Chi, you should know how to build houses, right? This isn't difficult. Shimin Chi said. Sima Yue called Sima Lai, Yin Lan, and the others out. The Shimin clan thought that they were in closed-door cultivation in the little realm, so they weren't too surprised. Feng Kai and the others were surprised. When they found out that Sima Yue had a little realm, they were even more surprised. After getting to know each other, everyone started to build houses together. Sima Lai and the others had built houses in the Spirit Pagoda before, so it was easy. The Shimin clan's guards had built houses in the valley before, so they had experience. Moreover, the materials were all readily available, so a few big houses were built next to the mountain. The others chose their houses and moved in. Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu went to set up the array. Sima Lai and Shimin Chi slowly got to know each other as they built houses together and became good friends. When the houses were built, the two of them gathered together to drink and chat. Thank you for raising Yue, Shimin Chi said gratefully. If it wasn't for her, Yue wouldn't have been reborn. Yue is a good child. Even if she isn't my biological granddaughter, she is still very good to us. Sima Lai said as he drank a mouthful of wine. You must have been very sad to have changed your soul. Shimin Chi thought that Sima Lai was talking about Yue's soul and not his biological one, so he asked. He could imagine Sima Lai's feelings. The granddaughter that he had raised for more than 10 years had become someone else. Actually, at the beginning, we didn't know that she had changed her soul. We only felt that she had become more sensible and worked harder. Later, when we all accepted her as such, she told us the truth. At the beginning, when we found out that she wasn't her, we felt strange in our hearts. But later on, we accepted it. Sima Lai said, I just don't know what her biological parents would think if they knew. Isn't she your biological daughter? Shimin Chi asked curiously. No, she is a child left behind by my benefactor and was given to me to raise. Sima Lai said, if I didn't guess wrongly, her family should be one of the more powerful families in the primordial lands. That family also has the surname Sima. The more powerful Sima family, Shimin Chi immediately thought of the one in the inner regions. Crazy Wife, the fifth Miss of the Divine, Dr. Crazy Wife. Fifth Miss Godly, Dr. Crazy Wife. Divine Dr. Fifth Miss Update, List Percent 20 Crazy Wife. Fifth Miss Miraculous, Dr. Crazy Wife. Divine Doctor, Fifth Miss Percent 20 Crazy Wife. Fifth Miss Godly Doctor. Chapter 9:17. Sima Yue did not tell Sima Lai too much about the Sima family. She only heard that they were a big family in the inner regions. Therefore, Sima Lai only knew that there was such a family power in the primordial lands, but he didn't know what kind of power it was. But Shimin Chi was different. He had gone out with the patriarch before and had come into contact with the outside world. He had heard of such a force. If Sima Yue was really from that family, he didn't dare to imagine what would happen next. He was afraid that a storm would be inevitable. Grandpa, Uncle Chi, Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu came back from outside. When they saw the two drinking on the hillside, they walked over to greet them. Is the array ready? Sima Lai asked. Yes. Sima Yue nodded. Seeing the two of them drinking, she said, why don't you cook some side dishes while drinking and chatting? Hee, I've been spoiled by your culinary skills. I don't think anything else tastes good. Sima Lai said, those things are too unpalatable. It's better to just drink wine. Sima Yue smiled and walked over to sit beside Sima Lai. She held onto his arm and said, Grandfather is saying that Yue won't make good food for you, right? I haven't eaten it in a long time. Sima Lai did not deny it. Sima Yue also felt that it had been a long time since she had made good food for Sima Lai. Since she had the time and mood today, she rubbed against Sima Lai's shoulder and said, what does Grandfather want to eat? Yue will make it for him, okay? As long as it's done by you, anything is fine. Sima Lai said with a smile. Sima Yue tilted her head and looked at Shimin Chi. Uncle Chi, what about you? I'm fine with anything too. Shimin Chi said, it's been a long time since I've eaten your cooking. I almost forgot what you can cook. Then I'll just make something simple. Sima Yue stood up and took out her cooking utensils on the slope. Sima Lai and Shimin Chi both liked to eat spicy food, so she made a few spicy dishes and 2 light dishes. Little Seven ran over before the first dish was ready. When she saw Sima Yue cooking, she was so happy that her face bloomed. Before she could say anything, she was sent by Sima Yue to call Shimin Li and Auntie. Sima Lai and Shimin Chi were already seated at the table. Shimin Li and Annie came. When they saw Sima Yue cooking, they were very happy. The two of them sat down together. Sima Yue still had one more dish to cook, but they had already started eating and drinking. Wu Lingyu also sat next to Sima Lai and was pulled by him a drink. Lingyu, are you pursuing my family's Yue? Sima Lai suddenly asked. Wu Lingyu's hand that was holding the wine cup trembled slightly, and a drop of wine flowed out. Strange, why am I so nervous? Could this be the legendary phobia of meeting parents? Grandfather Sima Lai raised the wine cup and drank it, saying, don't think that I can't tell. Your eyes are glued to my family's Yue all day long. That gaze is the same as when I looked at my wife. When Wu Lingyu heard him say that, he did not object. His voice was still cheerful, saying, yes, I like Yue. I knew that you brat would always come to my family's Yue for no reason. You don't have any good intentions. Sima Lai heard him admit it and turned hostile, saying coldly, my family's Yue is not that easy to pursue. If it were someone else, I would have chased them away with a broom. As for you, seeing that you have done so many things for her, I will reluctantly not chase you away. But Wu Lingyu's heart was raised when he saw his expression change. But when he heard him say that he did not dare to leave by himself, he calmed down again. He had never experienced such ups and downs before. Thinking back to when he was Wu Lingyu, he had interacted with all kinds of people and had all kinds of control in his hands. Well, had he ever experienced such ups and downs? As Immerse, even when facing thousands of soldiers and horses, he would not have this kind of mood. Now, with just a few words, he was able to feel ups and downs. Only her family could do that. But he understood her. If her family did not approve of him, she would be very troubled. He did not expect that he, who did not care about anything, would one day be so concerned about what others thought of him. Sima Lai drank another mouthful of wine and continued, we don't care about your matters. But if you dare to make her sad, we will not let you off easily. Do you understand? Grandfather, don't worry. I will not let this happen. Wu Lingyu promised. He never liked to make promises because he always felt that these words were empty. Only what he really did was real. But facing her family, he knew that he had to make some promises in order to make them feel at ease. Shimin Li looked at Wu Lingyu and said, Wah, am I going to have a brother-in-law? Sima Yue took the freshly cooked dishes from behind her and said, I don't know when brother-in-law will have one, but you will have a sister-in-law soon. Sister-in-law? Second brother has a sweetheart too? Shimin Li asked. Yes, a girl who sounds good. Sima Yue said, Aya, you and brother both have sweethearts. Now I'm the only one who doesn't have one. Shimin Li said, Sister, have you met my future sister-in-law? Is she good-looking? Is she easy to get along with? How did brother fall for her? Shimin Li had too many questions, so much so that Sima Yue forgot that they both had sweethearts. I have met her. She is quite pretty and easy to get along with. Her personality is a bit straightforward, but it is still okay. If you meet her, you will probably like her too. She smiled and said, speaking of which, she is quite thankful to her. These years, Feng Er's heart has been very uncomfortable, and she has always been by his side. If it wasn't for her, Feng Er would have been even more uncomfortable these years. Is there no one else accompanying second brother? Shimin Li asked with heartache. No. Sima Yue shook her head and said, to be exact, it is Feng Er who doesn't allow others to get close to him. Xiang, he only managed to break into his heart because she kept pestering him. Second brother wouldn't have stopped others from getting close to him in the past. Shimin Li said. Sima Yue told them about her encounter with Shimin Feng, and Shimin Li's eyes reddened. I didn't expect brother to have suffered so much. Second brother used to be very vain. I don't know how he survived after his face was disfigured. She felt heartache when she thought of Shimin Feng's situation at that time. Luckily, Sister Xiang Yi accompanied him and didn't completely shut him off. That's why we should thank her properly. Sima Yue said. Her expression changed, and she smiled and said, "We were just talking about them when they came back." Little Peng said that they're already outside Heartbreak Valley. I will go and bring them in. I will go with you. Wu Lingyu followed her and stood up. No need. Accompany grandfather for a few more drinks. Sima Yue pushed him back and turned to fly outside. Tags, Crazy Wife. The 5th Miss of the Divine Dr. Crazy Wife. Godly Doctor 5th Miss Crazy Wife. Godly Doctor 5th Miss Update List %20 Crazy Wife. Godly Doctor 5th Miss Update List Crazy Wife. Godly Doctor 5th Miss %20 Crazy Wife. Godly Doctor 5th Miss. Chapter 918. Read 336. Sima Yue came to the cliff and saw Shimin Feng, Third Aunt Du, Xiao Wu, and Little Peng talking. Behind them were a few unknown women. They should be the embroiderers that they had found. Brother Yue. Xiao Wu saw Sima Yue and waved at her. I was just telling Uncle Qi and Li about you when you came back. Sima Yue said, take the antidote first, then I'll bring you in. She distributed the pills to everyone and brought them to the valley. Sure, Chun, these are the embroiderers. Take them down and settle them down. Sima Yue said to Shi Chun, San Yang, you and Xiao Wu can stay in the same courtyard. Anything is fine, Third Aunt Du said. Then pack up. I'll bring you to see Uncle Qi and Andy. Sima Yue said, they're drinking and eating meat on the mountain behind us. All right. Third Aunt Du and the rest didn't have anything to do. They just wanted to take a look at their courtyard. After checking the courtyard, Sima Yue brought her and Xiao Wu to the back of the mountain. Third Madam, one big and one small flew towards Third Aunt Du among them. Shimin Li threw herself into Third Aunt Du's arms while the other fellow was kidnapped by Sima Yue. Aya, you let me go. I want to go and welcome Sanyang. Little Roar's little legs kicked in the air, but he was unable to break free from Sima Yue's demonic claws. Sanyang and Li are catching up. Why are you going there to be a third wheel? Sima Yue pulled its long ears. But I miss Sanyang too. I also want to go and reminisce about old times with Sanyang. Little Roar said unwillingly. Forget it. Sima Yu picked it up by the ear, as if she was picking up a stalk of straw, and sat down in front of the table. This is Xiao Wu, Sanyang's disciple. Xiao Wu, this is Big Sister's grandfather. This is Uncle Qi, Aunt Yi, and the one with Sanyang is Little Sister Li. Shimin Feng introduced to Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu bowed to the elders one by one. After not seeing each other for a while, she had followed Third Aunt Du everywhere and gained a lot of knowledge. She also understood their affairs and looked much more mature. She had never thought that there would actually be such a mystical thing in this world. Simultaneously, she felt sorry for her master and the people of Shimin clan. It seemed that one needed to experience in order to grow. Otherwise, one would always have the temperament of a child. Since everyone is having dinner, why don't you all sit down and eat together? Sima Yue said. Xiao Wu sat down beside Little Seven. Shimin Li and Sanyang also walked over. A table had already been filled, so everyone took out their stools and squeezed together. I didn't expect that so many people of Shimin clan are still alive. That's great. Sanyang's eyes were filled with tears as she caressed Shimin Li, who was beside her. Originally, she was already very happy that Shimin Feng and Sima Yue were still alive. She didn't expect that Shimin Li, a child that she had watched grow up, would also be alive. Yes, everyone survived. Shimin Qi said, but we were all out of town, so we were lucky to escape. Only the 3 siblings survived the massacre that day. Uncle Qi, Sanyang, today is the day that everyone reunited. Let's not talk about those sad things. Let's have a drink first. Sima Yue said with a smile. Everyone raised their cups. After a few days, senior brother, help me bring my brother and the others over to take a look. Then we will all be here. The sect will be officially established. Sima Yue said, "When the time comes, I will have to trouble senior brother." Wu Lingyu nodded and agreed to her request. "When everyone is here, let's have a feast together." Sima Yue said, "Let's call those fellows over and celebrate." "All right, second brother, when will you bring my future sister-in-law over for us to take a look? I'm very curious about her." She said that she will come over after she has finished with the things on hand. Shimin Feng said, "Really? Then I will be able to see her very soon." Shimin Li said happily, "Don't be too excited when the time comes. You will scare Xiangyi." Sima Yue joked with a smile. "I definitely won't." Shimin Li said, "My future sister-in-law has traveled extensively. How could you be scared by me?" Shimin Li said, I wonder what my future sister-in-law will give me as a present." Shimin Li kept calling her sister-in-law. Shimin Feng smiled and accepted it gladly. "All right, Sanyang, after we finish eating, I will bring you to find the 9-turn snow silkworm." Sima Yue said to third Aunt Du, "Okay." When third Aunt Du heard about the 9 turns snow silkworm, her appetite to eat lessened. She wanted to find it earlier. Sima Yue knew that she was anxious. She picked up some food for her and said, "The 9-turn snow silkworm is in the inner region. Our current antidote can only travel in the outer and middle regions. We will have to eat the antidote first. However, that antidote is something that I have just researched. It has not been improved. Eat it first. When we finish eating and go to the inner region, it will be effective. So third Aunt, you don't have to be anxious." She took out a pill and gave it to third Aunt Du. After third Aunt Du ate it, she knew that it was useless to be anxious now. She ate with everyone in peace. Everyone was satisfied with the meal. It was mainly because they had more relatives. Everyone was happy. After the meal, Sima Yue, Wu Lingyu, and Little Seven brought third Aunt Du to the inner region. The others stayed in the valley. The deeper they went, the stronger the poisonous miasma. The level of the poisonous creatures that appeared also became higher. However, when those poisonous creatures saw Wu Lingyu and Little Seven, they all hurriedly ran away. "These 2 fiends are here. Everyone quickly hide." Sima Yue saw them running away and laughed. She did not know what Wu Lingyu and Little Seven did to them to make them so scared. "Third Aunt, it's on the snowy mountain in front." They came to the bottom of a mountain. Because of the poisonous miasma, they could not see the scenery on the mountain. The antidote that third Aunt Du ate was only a general antidote for hundreds of poisons. It was not completely targeted at the inner region. Therefore, third Aunt still needed Sima Yue to burn a clean space for her. She raised her head and looked at the poisonous miasma. "I didn't expect the 9-turn snow silkworm to live in such an environment. The 9-turn snow silkworm is smart. They won't be found by humans if they are here." Sima Yue said, "If Little Seven and the rest were not immune to poison and kept wandering around the valley, we would not have found them. Let's go up." Sima Yue brought her up the mountain. After passing through the poisonous miasma area, she retracted her flame. Third Aunt Du used her spiritual energy to form a protective circle. The 4 of them flew towards the top of the mountain. Because the altitude was too high, it was already covered in snow halfway. When they reached the top of the mountain, it was even more white. They looked around, but did not see any 9-turn snow silkworm. "Is it really here?" Third Aunt Du asked. Sima Yue looked at Wu Lingyu. "That's what that old scorpion said. The 9-turn snow silkworm is on this snowy mountain." Little Seven said, "But at that time, you called us, so we didn't come up to check. But I think that old scorpion wouldn't dare to lie to me. Otherwise, I'll pull off his leg." Crazy Wife. The 5th Miss of the Divine, Dr. Crazy Wife. Godly Doctor 5th Miss Crazy Wife. Godly Doctor 5th Miss Update List Percent 20 Crazy Wife. Godly Doctor 5th Miss Update List Crazy Wife. Godly Doctor 5th Miss Percent 20 Crazy Wife. Godly Doctor 5th Miss. Chapter 919. In that case, they had never seen this 9-turn snow silkworm before. They circled around the top of the mountain again, but there was still only white snow. F***CK. Don't tell me he really isn't here. Little Seven burst out. She rolled up her sleeves and was about to go down the mountain to find trouble with Old Scorpion. Little 7, wait. Sima Yue grabbed Little 7. Listen. Little 7 quieted down and heard the rustling sound of snow under the ground. There was movement. Rustle, 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 rustle. Small piles of snow appeared on top of the snow, and then little heads popped out from them. It was the silkworm's round head. Hey, someone's coming. A little 9 turned snow silkworm cried out. Russell, it's really a human. How many years has it been? There are actually humans here. Aya, is this a human? I've never seen a human before. I heard that humans are very fierce. Should we hide? They've already discovered us. There's no point in hiding. All right, let's not talk anymore. But I'm very excited. Beware of the king punishing you. Oh, I didn't say anything. Sima Yu watched as the group of snow silkworms chattered away. She didn't feel any sense of danger from an intruder at all. Cough, cough. She coughed to attract the attention of the snow silkworms. Humans, what are you doing here? A snow silkworm crawled out of the snow cave. Sima Yue counted and found that its body was divided into 7 segments. It should be a snow silkworm that had experienced the Qi revolution. Where's your king? Sima Yue asked. You want to see our king? Yes. We have something to discuss with it. Is that okay? Sima Yue said. Our king doesn't have a time. That 7 turns snow silkworm refused without thinking. If you have anything to say, just say it to me. Can you be the decision maker of your snow silkworm group? You go first. We can make the decision for ordinary matters. All right. We would like to make a deal with you. Sima Yue said. We don't make deals with humans. Those snow silkworms refused without waiting for her to finish. You didn't even listen to the details of the deal. Who knows? I might suggest something that you're interested. You humans are cunning. We're not going to make a deal with you. That snow silkworm said. Leave the snow mountain. Otherwise, don't blame us for being impolite. As soon as he said that, the snow silkworms that were still in a daze crawled out of the snow and kicked them, as if they were ready to fight. But Yue that snow silkworm. We are here to look for your king. How can we leave without seeing him? Sima Yu said. Then don't blame us for being impolite. I think it's better for you to listen to our deal before making a decision. Sima Yu said, I don't want to hurt you. You us? Yue, of course Yue. Looks like we're going to have a fight. Sima Yue said helplessly. Master, let me do it. Sanyang Spirit's silkworm said. Yue, don't be in a hurry. Sanyang called out Ruo Li, the spirit silkworm king. When Ruo Li came out, she nodded at Sima Yue. She would never forget Sima Yue for saving her life. Green silkworm king? That Yue, of course, recognized Ruo Li in her human form. Call your king out. Ruo Li was a high and mighty king in front of others. She spoke with an innate arrogance. Our king is not free. Yue, of course, refused to inform them. But a snowstorm suddenly engulfed the entire mountain peak. When the snowstorm dissipated, a silver-robed man with black hair appeared in front of the snow silkworm. There was a cold aura around him, and his face was expressionless. He looked cold and arrogant. He glanced coldly at Sima Yue and the rest. They felt a chill. King, the snow silkworms all bowed. Ruo Li, you actually made a contract with someone. Jiuyin looked at Ruo Li with shock and disbelief. There was an accident. The contract saved my life and my child's. Ruo Li smiled. She didn't reject the contract. What happened? Jiuyin's face darkened when he heard that she almost lost her life. Ruo Li flew over, and the two of them started chatting. Little 7 looked at them chatting intimately and asked curiously, Ruo Li and Jiuyin seem to have a good relationship. Should be, Sanyang said. The spirit silkworms have a good relationship with each other. Ruo Li said that she has a good relationship with many spirit silkworm kings. I wonder if she can do anything. Little 7 said. They won't fight so easily. Sima Yue said. That's true. After a while, Ruo Li flew back and said, Jiuyin is the most arrogant of all the spirit silkworms. If he made a contract, he definitely wouldn't agree. I think Sanyang didn't want to make a contract with him either. Sima Yue said. Right, Sanyang? Sanyang nodded. I was forced to make a contract with you. Why would I make a contract with him? seeing that you saved Ruo Li's life. You can tell me why you're here today. Jiao Yin looked at them. He didn't put away his cold attitude because of Ruo Li. We want your silk? Sima Yue said. Jiao Yin's request wasn't strange. Humans usually only had this kind of request for spirit silkworms. However, the spirit silkworm clan didn't care that much about silk. They weren't willing to trade with humans because they didn't like humans. Just like how Ruo Li liked Sanyang, that was why she was willing to trade with her in the dark forest. Name your conditions. If there wasn't anything that moved him, even if it was them, he wouldn't be willing. I'll refine pills for you. Sima Yue said. Pills? Our spirit silkworm clan doesn't have much desire for pills. Jiao Yin wasn't satisfied with her condition. But you'll definitely like my pills. Sima Yue said. You're so confident. Jiao Yin said. Of course. If I wasn't confident, how would I be able to negotiate with you? Sima Yue said with a smile. She took out a pill and threw it to him. Jiao Yin caught it. You'll know the effects of this pill after smelling it. Jiao Yin wasn't interested in her pill. However, since she gave it to him, there was no harm in smelling it. Snow Lotus. He opened his eyes wide. That's right. This is a pill with Snow Lotus. Other than Snow Lotus, there are other precious herbs. Sima Yue said, this pill can help your people break through the bottleneck and enter the next transformation. Are you satisfied with this condition? Chapter 9:20. Only then did Jiao Yin's expression change. I know that you 9-turn snow silkworms have to turn every once in a while. Every time you turn, your body will have one more segment. Sima Yu continued, but every turn is very difficult for you snow silkworms. The early stages were still manageable, but after the 5th revolution, the further one progressed, the more difficult it became. The Snow Lotus can help you succeed, but there aren't many of them. It will be even more difficult for you to obtain Snow Lotuses. After all, you don't go out often. Am I right? Humans really do have a lot of thoughts. Jiao Yin said faintly. It was hard to tell whether he was angry or happy. The Snow Lotus is precious, even we don't have much of it. Sima Yue said. Little Spirit rolled his eyes in the Spirit Pagoda. Keep bragging. Sima Yue said in her heart, not to interrupt, and continued. Furthermore, even if they eat the Snow Lotus, they may not succeed. As for this pill, I've added in other precious herbs, so I can guarantee that they will have a 100% success rate. You can experiment with it. Experiment? I'll give this pill to you as a gift for our first meeting. You can try it on a subject that has always failed and see the effect. Sima Yue said, I'm here. If anything happens, you don't have to worry about finding someone to explain it to. Jiao Yin hesitated. Your Majesty, let me try. The 7-turn snow silkworm that spoke before said, Anyway, I've been stuck here for so many years. If I succeed, it'll be good. If I fail, there's nothing to be regretful about. Let me test it out for everyone. Jiao Yin thought for a moment and gave the pill to him, saying, If something happens to you, I'll let them accompany you. It seemed that although he looked cold, he was still very good to his people. However, in fact, he also believed that this pill was really useful. After all, Snow Lotuses were too rare. There was no need for her to lie to him. The 7 turns snow silkworm ate the pill, and its body began to convulse. Following that, rings of silver silk appeared around its body and wrapped around it. In the end, it turned into a thick cocoon ball before stopping. How long does each cycle take? Little 7 asked. The time required for each turn is different. This is his 8th turn, so the time required will be even longer. According to the normal speed, it would take about 4 days. Ruo Li said. Then we have to wait for 4 days. No need. This pill can increase their speed. It should be done in 2 days. Sima Yue said. You really have foresight. You knew to prepare this beforehand. Little 7 said. This was prepared by senior brother. Sima Yue said, I've been so busy recently. Where would I have the time to understand the habits of the 9-turn snow silkworm, and where would I have the time to refine this pill? Why haven't I seen you concoct any pills? Little 7 looked at Wu Lingyu. When you ran out to look for food, Wu Lingyu said, "Since we need 2 days, let's wait." Sima Yue said, "After we solve this problem, we'll look for the next one." Next one? Third Aunt Du was slightly stunned. "You said before that if there's a spirit silkworm in Heartbreak Valley, it should be the ringed silkworm." Sima Yue reminded, "You're saying that the ringed silkworm is here too?" Third Aunt Du looked at her in surprise. When she said that there was a spirit silkworm here, it should be the ringed silkworm, but she didn't expect that she was right. Sima Yue nodded, saying, "The ringed silkworm is indeed in Heartbreak Valley. It's not far from here." King Jiuyin, right? Jiuyin glanced at Sima Yue indifferently and didn't deny it. "I didn't expect it to really be here. In the future, when we build a sect here, there will be 2 spirit silkworm clans behind us. With Ruolis, we won't have to worry about the supply of silk in the future." Third Aunt Du said, "Ring silkworms are ferocious by nature. Your little tricks won't fool them." Jiuyin said with some disdain, "Ferocious ones are easier to deal with. We can talk with our fists." Little Seven said, "Wait until I beat them up until their parents can't recognize them. Then they will agree." Little Seven, "How many times have I told you, you're a girl, don't be so violent and talk with your fists." Sima Yue said as she patted Little Seven's head. Little Seven retracted her fists, pulled down her sleeves, and pretended to be a lady. They waited on the snow mountain for 2 days, and on the morning of the 3rd day, there was movement from the cocoon. A ray of light shot out from inside, directly breaking the cocoon. "Ha ha ha! I've finally succeeded in my 8th transformation." 7-turned snow silkworm, no, it was now 8-turned snow silkworm, jumped out of the cocoon and laughed loudly. "King, I've succeeded. This pill is indeed useful to us." Jiuyin's cold eyes flashed with a smile, saying, "Not bad. How is it? Can we make this deal now?" Sima Yue asked with a smile. This result wasn't surprising to her at all. Wu Lingyu's pill refining skills weren't any lower than hers. There definitely wouldn't be any problems with the pills he refined. Jiuyin then looked at her, saying, "How do you want to talk?" Half a day later, the few of them descended the mountain. Third Aunt Du and Sima Yue had satisfied smiles on their faces. "I didn't expect there to be so much silk this time. We can still come up every season to collect it. Just thinking about it makes me happy." Third Aunt Du thought about the pile of silk in the little realm. Her eyes curved into crescents. Almost no one has come to the 9 turns snow silkworm's clan land in the past. These were all piled up by them in the past. Naturally, there will be a lot of them. Sima Yue said, "Based on their current rate of silk production, we won't have any problems with the supply of silk in the future. I didn't expect the Snow Silkworm clan to have so many people. It's many times more than Ruo Li and the others." Third Aunt Du said happily, "But their conditions are quite harsh. They actually want 10 snow lotus pills a month. What if it's not enough?" "There won't be a problem," Sima Yue said. "But didn't you say that snow lotus is very rare?" "It's rare in other places, but it's not rare here. Little Spirit has a lot," Sima Yue said. It was because of this that she was looked down upon by Little Spirit previously. "Yu, are we going to look for ringed silkworms now?" Little Seven asked. Let's go. We'll solve the problem of the spirit cloth source today. It'll be more convenient for Third Aunt and the other embroiderers to handle things in the future," Sima Yue said. They went through a few valleys and arrived at a forest surrounded by poisonous miasma. Because the poisonous miasma here was too strong, Sima Yue didn't dare to guarantee Third Aunt's safety, so she left her outside. Not long after they walked in, a strand of silk quickly attacked them. Ringed silkworms are indeed ferocious, attacking without saying a word. Sima Yue grabbed the strand of silk and pulled hard. A black silkworm was pulled down from the tree. "Since you like violence so much, then let's use violence to speak. Attack!" Chapter 921. Ping ping pang. One more. Wow. The miasma here was so thick that one couldn't see what was inside from 3 meters away. Third Aunt Du was outside the miasma and couldn't see what was happening inside. She could only hear the continuous wailing and couldn't help but worry about Sima Yue. But she couldn't go in, so she could only anxiously pace back and forth outside. Sanyang, you don't have to worry. They've even dealt with the poisonous creatures in the inner circle, not to mention the ringed silkworms. Ruali comforted her by her side. What's more, although those ringed silkworms are fierce and aggressive, their battle prowess isn't that strong. I believe they will be out soon. Yes, Third Andu said. I hope so. Little Seven's battle prowess is impressive, but I can't see through Yoyue's senior brother. That person indeed gave off a very deep feeling. Ruali said, furthermore, I always felt that he had an aura that I didn't like. Previously, I thought it was a dark aura, but the aura emanating from his body was indeed a light aura. Furthermore, he had cultivated the Sage Pavilion's mental cultivation method, which gave people a pure and holy feeling. That's why I feel like I'm wrong. So strange? Third Andu said. Could he be a dangerous person? Maybe I was wrong back then. Ruali said, we green silkworms are close to nature, so we are more sensitive to dark things. We can sense even the slightest bit of disharmony. I know what you're capable of. Third Andu said, but this time you may be really wrong. Yoyue's senior brother is the holy son of the Sage Pavilion, and is also the disciple of the divine Devil Valley's Valley Lord. Naturally, he wouldn't be someone of the dark attribute. Amen. Maybe I was wrong. Ruali said. Don't burn it. Don't burn them. The screams from inside interrupted their conversation. When Third Andu heard this, she smiled and said, looks like Yue won. I already said that you don't have to worry. Ruali said. Inside the poisonous miasma, the little vermilion bird wandered around in the forest. From time to time, it would bump into a tree. A 10,000-year-old tree turned into ashes in a few breaths of time. Sima Yue played with the flame in her hand. Facing the ringed silkworm that was crying for its parents after being beaten by the three of them, she said, how about it? Do you guys want to have a taste of our little birdie's power? No. The ringed silkworm king cried. We're willing to listen to you. Don't burn anymore. Didn't you want to fight with us? Little Seven waved her fist. The ringed silkworm king looked at her and hurriedly kowtowed to beg for mercy, saying, we won't dare, we won't dare. We were wrong just now, we were wrong. Young lady, please don't take it to heart. What a spineless fellow. Little Seven looked at its cowardly appearance. Where was the imposing manner of king? Look at Joeen, that temperament, that's called noble and flawless. This poison silkworm king was too cheap. I'm not going to talk nonsense with you. Sima Yue said, I'm here for something. What's the matter? The ringed silkworm king asked with trepidation. We want your silk. You want our silk? The ringed silkworm king was stunned, then asked very sensibly, how much do you want? All of it. All of it. The entire ringed silkworm clan cried out. Who? Little Birdie flew around them in a circle, scaring them so much that they quickly lay down and didn't dare to move. Little Seven gave Little Birdie a flirtatious look. Smart little fellow. We have some silk these years. If you want it, you can take it. The ringed silkworm king said. It's not enough. Sima Yue shook her head. It's not enough. The ringed silkworm king really didn't know what else to do. I've built a force in the central regions. In the future, we'll develop the spirit cloth industry. Sima Yue said, I want you to provide us with silk. If you're willing to join our force, you'll be one of us in the future. Sima Yue said, if you're one of us, you'll be able to gain a lot of benefits. If you're not willing to join, we're very cruel to outsiders. Maybe we'll pull them over and beat them up. Little Seven threatened. Hearing her words, their bodies subconsciously trembled. If we join, what benefits will we get? The ringed silkworm king asked. I heard that other than eating poison, you also like to eat tincture and medicinal herbs. Sima Yue said, as for poison, we don't have the ability to produce it on a large scale, but we can still satisfy you with the other two things. If you follow us, at least you won't have to waste your energy to find tincture and medicinal herbs. How about it? I want to discuss with my clan. The ringed silkworm king said, I'm an enlightened king. The three of them were speechless as they looked at that dark and fat fellow. This narcissistic and ugly fellow really made people want to poke their own eyes out. Go. Sima Yue said, I'll give you 10 minutes. A group of serial silkworms dragged their injured bodies together and began to talk to each other. In order not to let Yue and the rest hear what they were saying, they still used their own clan's language. After 10 minutes, Sima Yue coughed, and those fellows immediately ran behind the ringed silkworm king. Have you finished discussing? She asked. Yes. The ringed silkworm king said, if you want us to join you, we can do that, but we can't be short on jingsher and medicinal herbs. No problem. Sima Yue agreed. Also, you can't let us leave here. The ringed silkworm king said, we've lived here for a few generations. If you ask us to leave, it's the same as asking us to leave our home. We don't agree. We don't plan to let you migrate. Sima Yue said, you can stay here for as long as you want. Really? Why would I lie to you? Sima Yue said, we asked you to join us just so that you can produce silk for us. It's not like we want you to sell your bodies. Although they didn't like the word sell, they didn't have to leave here, and there were still jingsher and medicinal herbs to sell. If they wanted the silk, they could take it. Okay, then we promise you, we'll join your clan. The ringed silkworm king said, okay, after I've researched the antidote for the inner region, someone will contact you. Sima Yue said, now, you can hand over all the silk you produced before. There's one more request. The ringed silkworm king said, since we're part of you, you have to protect us if any poisonous creatures come to invade us. If you're part of us, no one in Heartbreak Valley can bully you. Sima Yue said, but if you go out and do evil, then don't blame us for not caring. Okay, having this guarantee was better than having no guarantee. The ringed silkworm king comforted itself, and then ordered its people to move the silk it produced in advance. Chapter 922. After a while, the ringed silkworms finally moved out all their stock. Sima Yue kept her word. She took their silk and left them with many crystals and herbs. When the ringed silkworms saw the crystals and herbs, they excitedly pounced on them. Even the ringed silkworm king was no longer reserved. Well, they never knew what it meant to be reserved. Sima Yue and the rest shook their heads and left the forest. They were both spirit silkworms, and the grade of their silk was not far apart. Why was there such a huge difference in their temperaments? Seeing them come out, Third Aunt Dew's heart finally calmed down and said, how is it? With us taking action, there will definitely be no problem. Sima Yue stuffed a space ring into her hand. This is their silk from the past. I'll leave it in your care. Okay. Sima Yue was in charge of this, as she did not know how to use it. Third Madam, I've already spoken with them. I'll send someone to contact them in the future. You can take them over once I've figured out the antidote. Sima Yue said. Third Aunt Dew nodded. Leave the matter of the spirit silkworm and spirit cloth to me. As Yue's elder, she wanted to share some of her burden when she saw how busy she was. San Yang, let me tell you, you don't have to be gentle with those fellows in here as long as little Seven ran over and pulled San Yang's hand, talking as they walked out. Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu followed behind and looked at their backs in amusement. Senior brother, thank you. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have been able to solve the problem of the spirit silkworm so easily. Sima Yue said gratefully. She didn't have time to think about the problem of spirit silkworms, but he had figured out the habits of the two types of spirit silkworms and told her how to deal with them. It was because of him that everything went so smoothly for her this time. You have to be sincere when you thank me. Wu Lingyu whispered into her ear. The atmosphere between the two of them instantly became ambiguous. Sima Yue pushed his head away and said, I'll treat you to a drink tonight. Is this considered sincere? Drink? I like it. Wu Lingyu said, but do you think we should do something after drinking? Are you trying to do something to me by treating me to a drink? 3 black lines slid down her forehead. Was this guy taking advantage of her? Looks like it's not good to drink. Forget it. I'll change my way of expressing my gratitude. Sima Yue said. She took out a bright red strawberry and stuffed it into his mouth, saying, this is more sincere and safer. I've already thanked you. Don't say that I'm insincere in the future. Wu Lingyu ate the strawberry in one bite and whispered in her ear, strawberries, I like strawberries. Sima Yue blushed. Why did Wu Lingyu's tone remind her of the little strawberry that people often talked about in her previous life? But when he turned his head to take a look, the expression on this guy's face couldn't be any more normal. It looked as if he really liked to eat strawberries. Seeing her shy look, Wu Lingyu laughed in his heart. He kissed her face and said, "This is a sincere reward." Sima Yue glared at him. Fortunately, Sanyong and Little Seven had walked to the front and didn't notice them. Otherwise, she would definitely beat him up. "Let's go." Wu Lingyu naturally held her hand and led her back. Little Seven turned around and blinked at the two of them. She heard everything. This little guy. Sima Yue looked at Little Seven in amusement. "What did Grandpa say to you when we were eating that day? You want to know?" Wu Lingyu asked. Yes. She wanted to know how Grandpa and the others saw him. Grandpa said that he won't interfere in our matters. He agreed that we should be together. Wu Lingyu said. The first sentence was true, but the second sentence was just his imagination. But that was what Grandpa meant, so he didn't twist his understanding. Grandpa really said that? Grandpa also said that he wants me to marry you as soon as possible. Impossible. You must be making it up. Grandpa wouldn't say that. Grandpa wouldn't want me to get married as soon as possible. Hee, something like that. Wu Lingyu said, but the boyfriend you mentioned in the chaotic realm, am I your boyfriend now? Can you do what I said? Sima Yue asked back. Aren't I doing it now? Sima Yue broke free from his hand and ran out. She turned around and smiled. Then we'll talk about being a boyfriend after you've done it. After saying that, she ran back. But the moment she turned around, she fell into an embrace. Yue, be my woman. Sima Yue didn't expect this guy to teleport. Before she could react, a certain someone's affectionate words came from above her head. Her heart instantly sped up. She didn't know how to answer him. Her language skills seemed to be stuck at this moment. Wu Lingyu didn't wait for her reply and asked, You don't want to? A certain someone was still silent. Wu Lingyu sighed and said, All right, forget it if you don't want to be my woman. Sima Yue's heart ached for no reason. She only thought about it for a while, and he gave up. But before the pain spread, she felt him kiss her hair and said, Since you don't want to be my woman, I won't force you. However, let me be your man. Boom! A warm current spread from her heart, filling her heart to the brim. Then it spread to her limbs and bones, making her whole body feel warm. Yue, isn't my suggestion good? Do you agree? Wu Lingyu let go of her and looked in her eyes seriously. You want to be my man? She asked. Yes, but there are many requirements to be my man. The most important one is that you can only have me in your eyes and in your heart. Can you do that? Look at my eyes. Wu Lingyu said, What do you see? I boogers. Sima Yue thought of scenes she saw in her previous life and couldn't help but laugh. All right, at such an important moment in her life, she shouldn't be thinking about such trivial things. Wu Lingyu saw the mischievous smile on her face and knew that she must have thought of something bad. He reached out his finger and scratched her nose, saying, In my eyes and in my heart, in the past and in the future, there will only be you. I also belong to you. All right, since you're so sincere, I'll reluctantly agree to let you be my boyfriend. But I'll say it first. If you don't meet my standards, I'll have to change you. Since she also had feelings, why couldn't she have a taste of two people's lives? Wu Lingyu looked at her playful smile and hugged her waist, lowering his head to kiss her. I won't let you have that chance. In the future, you're mine, and I will also be yours. Chapter 923. You are mine, and I am yours. It was a simple oath, gentle yet domineering. The gentle kiss was not as forceful as before, nor was it as light as a dragonfly skimming the surface of the water. It showed the two people's attachment to each other. This was the kiss of true love. Sima Yue thought. He didn't expect her to be distracted at this moment. Wu Lingyu held her head and deepened the kiss. She, who was still thinking about other things, was lost in the sea of gentleness following his rhythm. After kissing for a while, he finally let go of her. Seeing her delicate red lips, he couldn't help but kiss her again. Sima Yue took this opportunity to come back to her senses. She lightly hit his shoulder and said embarrassedly, "Third Ant and Little Seven are still in front." Wu Lingyu could feel the two people snickering in the distance. He kissed her lips again before letting go of her. However, he didn't let go of her. Instead, he grabbed her hand. At this moment, his heart was truly filled to the brim. It turned out that all this time, he hadn't been able to do anything because he hadn't had her. "Let's go. If we don't go, San Yang and the others will laugh at us." Sima Yue said. "San Yang and the others are experienced people. They won't laugh at us." Even though he said that, he still held her hand and walked back. He only caught up with them when they reached the next miasma. Third Ant Du looked at Sima Yue's red lips and knew what the two of them had just done. Looking at their tightly clasped hands, there was nothing she didn't understand. "Lingyu." She looked at Wu Lingyu and said, "Can I call you that?" Third Madam is Yue's elder, so she's naturally my elder as well. Wu Lingyu said, "Since you're with Yue, I won't say much. But now that you're together, you have to be good. You're not allowed to bully Yue." Third Madam, don't worry. I definitely won't let you down. Wu Lingyu said sincerely. "I'll trust you first. I also trust Yue's judgment." Third Ant Du said, "But if you let Yue down, we won't be so nice." "Yes, I will remember Third Madam's words." Wu Lingyu obediently replied. "Okay, then let's go back." Third Ant Du turned and left. Sima Yue looked at Third Ant Du and then at Wu Lingyu. She snickered in her heart. When Third Ant scolded people, she still had the aura of an elder. Wu Lingyu was also very polite in front of her relatives. This kind of well-behaved and obedient manner, whether it was as the holy son of the sage pavilion or as the devil king of the devil realm, had never been seen before. Wu Lingyu saw the smile in her eyes and reached out to ruffle her hair. "Let's go." When they returned to the valley, with Little Seven's little microphone, the news of Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu being together quickly spread throughout the valley. Shimin Feng and Shimin Li were not surprised. Although they felt that it was a little fast, there were already signs. When the Shimin clan heard the news, they were all happy for Sima Yue. They knew some things about Sima Yue and heard that she had suffered so much. They also hoped that someone could be with her. Only Feng Kai and the other brothers were very surprised. Boss was really together with that man. They felt that their hearts were broken. Their boss was actually turned gay by this guy. It was Little Seven who saw that they were all in pain and kindly told them that Yue was actually a girl. "Girl, you're saying that boss is a girl?" Anayani was stunned for a moment and immediately jumped up from the stool. The others were not as exaggerated as him, but they had similar expressions. Little Seven dodged the tea that he spat out and saw Shurchin's cup fall to the ground and shatter. The tea lid even spun twice on the ground before stopping. "Yu is a girl. Do you have to be so surprised?" She dug her ears and was almost deafened by Anayani. "Of course we're surprised." Anayani shouted, "How can Boss be a girl? How can Boss be a girl? Boss is actually a girl. Whoa, my heart is seriously hurt. Don't tell me you want Yu to be a guy, and then be together with Brother Lingyu, a guy. Damn, so you have such a strong taste." Little Seven shouted. Pay. What strong taste? I don't want Boss to do such a thing." Anayani shouted. "But Boss is a girl. Boss is actually a girl. So what if she's a girl?" Little Seven couldn't understand their shock. For someone who is only a fraction of our age, but stronger than us, it's already unacceptable that she's a guy. Now, she's actually saying that she's a girl. This is too much a blow. He said. "TSK, you guys value boys over girls. I'm not talking to you guys anymore." Little Seven waved her hand and ignored the 10 people who were so shocked that they couldn't find their bearings. "Big brother, Boss is actually a girl." Anayani looked at Fengji. I heard what Little Seven said." Fengji's expression was indifferent as he leaned back in his chair. Among the 10 brothers, he was the calmest. "Big brother is so calm." Anayani said, "Aren't you surprised?" "I'm surprised," Fengji said, "but being surprised doesn't change anything. Boss is still boss. Sai, it's really a huge blow." He said, "Actually, when Boss was a guy, you guys weren't so shocked. Now that she's a girl, you guys find it hard to accept." Feng Ji said, little 7 is right. You guys value boys over girls. Second brother and the rest are just as shocked as us. And he said, sigh, I need to digest this news. Really, it's too much of a blow. Actually, you shouldn't be shocked because she's a girl. Instead, you should think that this girl is actually taken. That's the real blow. It seemed to make sense. Sigh, if we knew boss was a girl, then we would have made the first move. And he held his chest and shouted, forget it. With your unreliable appearance, even if we knew, boss wouldn't like you. You should stop for a while. Feng Ji said, really, I can't even think about it. And he was shocked and decided to ignore him for 2 days. Boss is already so handsome in men's clothing. I wonder how stunning she would be if she were to dress as a girl. Kong Rin said, why don't you guys give boss a suggestion and let her dress as a girl for us to see? Hong Wu said, you guys can go if you're not afraid of death. Sixth brother, I feel that boss won't beat you to death. Go and try. Just say that it's to comfort her hurt heart. Boss will definitely agree. He urged. I'll go. And he said, you guys wait. I'll definitely make boss dress as a girl for us to see. After saying that, he really ran out. This old 6 really went. Shurchin didn't manage to catch him in time. He shook his head and said, boss won't beat him up, but that holy sun might. Chapter 924. Half an hour later, Ani returned. I'm back. Boss said that everyone will celebrate tomorrow night. At that time, she will wear women's clothes and go out. He entered the door and said the news he had just received. Surprisingly, he came back with all 4 limbs intact. He didn't even have any dark circles under his eyes or wrinkles in his clothes. You actually came back in one piece. Dai Yi's eyes widened as he looked at him in disbelief. Why are you so surprised that I came back in one piece? Your eyeballs almost fell out. He returned to his previous seat and sat down. I say, you went to ask boss to wear women's clothing, UC asked. That's right. He nodded proudly and said, I went to tell boss and asked if she was really a girl. She admitted it, and then I acted all hurt. In the end, I suggested for her to dress up as a girl. She said that she was going to wear women's clothes at the party tomorrow. Then I'll be back. No one beat you up? Hong Wu asked. No. He said, why? Are you all thinking that I'll get beaten up if I go? It's strange that he didn't get beaten up, UC said. That's right. No. Why do you think I'll be beaten up? He didn't understand what the disappointment in these guys' eyes meant. Where's Wu Lingyu? I heard that he went back to pick someone up. He said, I think he went to pick up boss's brothers. No wonder. Everyone revealed an expression of understanding. They knew it. How could he not be beaten if he rushed over like that? It turned out that it was because the person was not there. Only then did he react. He jumped up and pointed at them, saying, well, you all know that you'll get beaten up if you go, but you still want me to go. You guys are really. We couldn't hold you back. Who told you to run so fast? Shurchin said indifferently. He deliberately slowed down by a beat and didn't pull, but the nature was actually the same. He understood this and sat back down to sulk. These guys, how come I've never seen them this bad before? I'll be able to see her in women's clothing tomorrow night. I'm really curious, Feng Kai said. Yeah, I can't imagine it. We'll know tomorrow. This is the first time I've looked forward so much to a new day. I think so. Ani was speechless. Couldn't they see that he was angry? All right, these guys were purposely ignoring him. The next day, in Sima Yoyue's courtyard, Shimin Li, third Aunt Du, and Xiao Wu were helping Sima Yue dress up in the house. Sanyang, I don't need these things. Sima Yue removed the jewelry from her head. My head will break if I put so much jewelry on my head. Today is the founding day of the sect. You have to dress up well. Third Aunt Du said. Sanyang, the sect master is Feng not me. I don't need to dress up. Just act like before. Sima Yu said. Nominally, it's Feng but in everyone's hearts, you're the real sovereign. Third Aunt Du said, everyone is looking forward to your makeup this time. Even so, you don't need these. Sima Yue looked at her empty hair in the mirror. She found a blood jade hairpin from the jewelry pile and inserted it into her hair. It's done. Today, she was wearing a white dress. The red silk thread at the hem of the dress was embroidered with a lifelike phoenix. There were a few red patterns on the sleeves that corresponded to the phoenix, and a red belt around her waist showed off her slender figure. Now, with the blood jade hairpin, it complemented the dress. Sister, do you want to put on makeup? Shimin took out the makeup items and looked at Sima Yue. Sima Yue shook her head and refused. She hated to put these things on her face. Sister doesn't need to put on these makeup. You look good too. Look at your skin. I'm afraid water will drip out if I touch it. Shimin said, speaking of which, Sister and I are the same age, but Sister looks younger than me. Your mouth is getting sweeter. Sima Yue looked at her in the mirror and smiled. Shimin hugged Sima Yue from behind and said, no matter what Sister becomes, she will always be my sister. The three of us siblings will always be together. Okay. Sima Yue smiled sweetly. Although she had gone through so much, although she still felt heartache when she thought about the past, she was already very grateful that she still had her family to accompany her. Do you think my future sister-in-law will come today? Shimin asked. She should. Sima Yue said, let's see if your second brother is fast enough. I can even see that you're my partner today. I will get to know my sister's friends after she was reborn. Shimin said, I heard my sister talk about them a lot. I'm very curious about them. And your brothers, will they treat me as a sister too? If they know that they have a sister, they will be very happy. Sima Yue smiled and said, they always said that I don't have a sister and that I can't satisfy their need to protect me. Now that they know that you are here, their need to protect me will definitely appear again. I was the younger one in the past, and I will still be the younger one in the future. Shimin said, actually, I want to be a sister too. It doesn't feel bad to have a younger one for me to protect. Yes, isn't Xiao younger than you? Sima Yue said, when the two of you are together in the future, you can protect Xiao Wu. That's true. Shimin said to Xiao Wu, I will protect you in the future. Xiao Wu pouted and said, I will be very powerful too. Even if you are powerful, you still need someone to protect you. Shimin giggled and said, if a bad person bullies you, just tell me. I will help you beat him up. Sima Yue heard her tone and her head hurt. Lier, don't always be with little Seven in the future. Why? Shimin looked at her sister in confusion. She will pass her bandit aura to you. Sima Yue said. Chapter 925. Read 336. Little Seven looked at Shimin, hoping that she could give her some hints. But why was she clenching her fist at him? You, although you're very beautiful today, I'm a girl. You don't have to look at me so affectionately. Little Seven threw caution to the wind and threw herself into Sima Yue's embrace, smiling flatteringly. Save it. Sima Yue said, didn't I tell you before that girl should be virtuous? Don't shout and kill for no reason. You still want to teach Leah? Do you want to teach a girl who is as bandit as you? Is there? I don't think so. Little Seven said, I've always said that girls shouldn't use their fists if they don't have to. Isn't that right, Leah? Yes. Leah nodded and said in her heart, you only said to use your fists when you need to. You even taught her fist techniques? What if a girl goes out and meets a hooligan? I'm teaching her how to defend herself. Little Seven quibbled. Leah has a human body. Your methods might not be suitable for her. Sima Yue said, that's why I didn't just casually teach him. I chose a set that suits him. Little Seven said, you're still quibbling. Sima Yue pinched Little Seven's cheeks. I heard you scolding people the moment I arrived. Bei Gong Tang said, you're still scolding Little Seven. Look at you. Aren't you using violence at the slightest provocation? Bei Gong is right. If the upper beam is not straight, the lower beam will be crooked too. I'm actually using you as a role model. Little Seven was grateful to her savior. If no one came, she would probably be scolded by Yue. It's been a long time since I've seen you in female clothing. Compared to the last time, you look even more charming. Bei Gong Tang walked over and looked her up and down, praising her. The last time she wore women's clothing was when she was in the Restless continent. Compared to that time, she now had a more ruthless and domineering aura, and her eyes had a hint of age. "How are things in the school?" Sima Yue let go of little Seven and asked. "The ranking challenge is over. Everyone is cultivating in the academy. There's nothing much going on." Bei Gong Tang said, "It's just that once you and little Seven finished competing, you disappeared without a trace. The academy's students kept loitering around the dormitory entrance, wanting to see if they could find you." "You want to challenge me?" Sima Yue asked. "It's not a challenge." At the end of the competition, little Seven had said that if anyone wanted to challenge her, they would have to defeat her first. With her around, who would dare to look for you? Bei Gong Tang said, "They just want to see if they can see you and witness your elegance. There are also some people who want to join the society. Our two leaders have been worrying about this for a long time." Later on, in order to avoid those people, everyone chose to go into seclusion. "If you hadn't asked us to come this time, everyone would still be in seclusion. Where are the others?" "They're all waiting outside," Bei Gong Tang said. "They wanted to come in, but once they reached the valley, they heard that you and your senior brother were already together. They also heard that you were changing, so those guys didn't dare to come in. When Yu goes out, she will definitely shock everyone," Little Seven said with a smile. "That's right. I didn't feel in the past, but now I realize that she's really a beauty. If your senior brother abandons you one day, will you follow me?" Bei Gong Tang said with a smile. "All right," Sima Yue replied. "This must be big sister Bei Gong Tang." Shimin Li looked at Bei Gong Tang and said with a smile, "Big sister, you're right. She's really pretty." Bei Gong Tang looked at Shimin Li with a questioning gaze. "This is my younger sister, Shimin Li. Because I thought she was already dead, I didn't mention her to you guys." Sima Yue said, "She was only 15 when the accident happened, so she's the same age as me now." Big sister said that in your team, there's an especially pretty sister. "I think it's you," Shimin Li said. "Thank you for accompanying Big Sister in the past. If it wasn't for you guys, I don't even know what Big Sister would be like now. We came here together. Not only did we accompany her, she also accompanied us." Bei Gong Tang said, "Let's go. Since everyone's here, let's go out and meet them. Otherwise, they'll wait anxiously and try to kill me again." Sima Yue said, "Even if you go out now, they'll definitely try to kill you when they see you like this." Bei Gong Tang pulled Sima Yue's hand and walked out. The moment she opened the door, she saw everyone waiting in the courtyard. Sima Yulin and the others were talking in the courtyard. When they heard the movement, they turned around. The moment they saw Sima Yue come out, everyone was stunned. "Oh my God, is this Yue?" Fatty Chu looked at Sima Yue and his jaw almost dropped to the ground. "I always thought that Bei Gong Tang was beautiful. I didn't think that Yue would be even more beautiful after dressing up as a girl." Wei Ziqi couldn't help but exclaim, "Ha ha ha, fifth bro. Fifth sis is really stunning after dressing up as a girl." Sima Yue saw their reactions. "It's not like you guys haven't seen me in a dress before. Do you have to be so surprised? How old were you at that time? Your facial features weren't fully developed and your temperament was different. Also, after so many years, seeing you in male clothes every day made us forget that time you wore a dress." Sima Yuran said, "Now that you've grown up, you look different." "Third bro, you're teasing me too." Sima Yue glared at him. "Why don't I see senior brother? After he sent us here, he said that he had something to settle and left." Sima Yulin said, "All right." She didn't know if it was about the Sage Pavilion or the Devil Realm. It wasn't good to ask. "Let me introduce you. This is little sister Lier. These are big bro, second bro." Sima Yue introduced them one by one. "Yue, why didn't I hear you mention that you have a little sister?" Fatty Chu said, "Hello, little sister Lier. I'm your big bro Fatty. If anyone bullies you in the future, tell big bro Fatty, and I'll help you beat them up." Sima Yue's face was filled with black lines. Third Aunt Du and Little Wu were laughing behind them. Just now, Lier said something similar to Little Wu, causing Little Seven to be scolded by Sima Yue. Now Fatty Chu was doing it again. Looking at Yue's expression, She probably really wanted to beat someone up. Lear, since you're fifth bro's little sister, then you're our little sister. Big bro will protect you in the future, Sima Yulu said with a smile. Okay. Sima Lee replied with a smile. Big bro, second bro, third bro, fourth bro, had you gone to see grandfather? Sima Yu asked. Not yet. We just arrived here as well. Sima Yu Ming said. Then let's go together. They should be in the valley in front now. When Feng comes back, we can start today's banquet. Sima Yu said. Little Seven covered her mouth and laughed secretly. Everyone had been waiting for her. When she went, it would definitely cause a commotion. Chapter 926. Read 336. Sima Yuyue's courtyard was at the top of the valley, and Shimin Feng's courtyard was beside hers. The valley was L-shaped. It was nearly a kilometer from their courtyard to the front of the valley, and they still had to make a turn. When she brought everyone over, the originally noisy valley immediately quieted down. Everyone stared blankly at the beautiful figure who had just arrived. This is Boss. He drank the wine in his mouth and whispered, It's really Boss. And he felt that his heart was about to jump out of his chest, and his heart was about to jump out of his throat. No one dared to speak loudly for fear of ruining this beautiful moment. See, I told you. You'll definitely amaze everyone. Shimonli whispered into Sima Yoyue's ear with a smile. Yoyue's charm can't be hidden even in men's clothes, let alone women's clothes. Bei Gong Tang teased from the other side. If you don't go over, their saliva will drip onto the ground. Sima Yue smiled. She had not worn a dress for a long time and was not used to it. Just as she was about to go over, a spatial passage opened diagonally above her, and Wu Lingyu walked out. He immediately saw Yue in female clothes. His eyes flashed with amazement at first. Then he frowned slightly and became a little unhappy. Have you settled the matter? Sima Yu looked at him and watched the change in expression on his face with satisfaction. Wu Lingyu walked over and held her hand, saying, There's still a little left, so I rushed back first. In front of so many people, she didn't ask what was going on and said, Since you're back, let's attend the banquet together. Feng hasn't come back yet. It should be soon. Even if he couldn't get Xiang Yi, he would come back himself. We already agreed on the time of the banquet. Sima Yu said, Let's go then. Wu Lingyu held her hand and walked over. Along the way, the eyes of those people were staring at their intertwined hands. Their hearts were filled with envy and jealousy. Bei Gongtang and the others were behind. Looking at their backs, she said, The more I look at them, the more compatible they seem. What match? It's obviously an eyesore. Sima Yulu glared hatefully at their hands, wishing he could go up and pry them apart. An eyesore, really an eyesore? She really is an eyesore. Sima Yuran agreed. She's clearly our younger sister. How did she end up in his hands? This is intolerable. Sima Yuming said. We can't accept it. Sima Yuqi agreed. How can we let him cheat our sister away so easily? Yes, we have to think of something. I agree. When everyone heard what the four brothers said, they couldn't help but feel worried for Wu Lingyu. This guy was finished. If it was someone else who wanted to teach him a lesson, he would probably be killed in seconds. But they were Yoyue's brothers. No matter what they did, he had to endure it. He could not resist. Why did they feel so happy when they thought of this? I'm looking forward to it. When Sima Yue arrived in front of everyone, and E was the first to approach her. Wow, boss, you're so beautiful. If I knew you were a girl, I would definitely have chased you. When he heard this, Wu Lingyu frowned, and the other brothers held their foreheads. Oh no, this guy couldn't avoid a beating. Shi Chan went up and pulled him back, saying, It's no use even if you knew. It's better to come back and cool off. I still want to talk to boss. And E cried out. Boss, Shi Chan stretched out a hand and covered his mouth. Good brother, I'm doing this for your own good. Didn't you see that the guy's face was so black? Sima Yue looked at Shi Chen's expression and couldn't help but laugh. With this laugh, the sky, earth, sun, and moon lost their color. Everyone's eyes were only left with her smile. A portal in space suddenly opened and the three of them walked out. Seeing the dazed people below, Kong Sengyi turned around and looked at Shimin Feng. Are we sure we didn't go to the wrong place? Let's go down. Shimin Feng pulled her hand and flew to Sima Yue. You guys are back? We were just waiting for you guys. Sima Yue smiled at the two of them. Wow, Yue, you look so beautiful in female clothes. If I was a guy, I would definitely chase you. Kong Sengyi went up and pulled Sima Yue's hand, looking her up and down, and said with a smile. Wu Lingyu really wanted to say that he wouldn't be calculative if she was a girl, but he was still unhappy in his heart. Then do you want me to research on a sex change pill for you? Sima Yue said with a smile. Seeing the old man behind, she asked, This is my master. He doesn't belong to the Kong Valley, and he won't tell anyone about us. Master is worried about me, so Kong Sengyi felt that he had let Sima Yue down. This old man said that he won't tell anyone about you guys. Naturally, there will be rules of heaven and earth to restrict him. The old man said, Rules of heaven and earth. Sima Yue was slightly shocked. Master swore. Kong Sengyi said. Sima Yue didn't expect the old man to be so decisive. She smiled and said, Since he's your master, he's naturally our guest. Feng Ji, bring the guests to their seats. Feng Ji went up and waved at the old man, saying, Elder Mu, please. He called out his name the moment he came up, which meant that Feng Ji knew him. 10 great evildoers. Elder Mu looked at Feng Ji and squinted his eyes. Feng Ji smiled and didn't deny it. He then made a gesture to invite him in. Elder Mu kept the shock in his heart and followed him to their seats. Shimin Feng brought Kong Sengyi in front of Shimin Li. Before he said anything, Shimin Li went up and grabbed Kong Sengyi and said, Future sister-in-law, I thought you wouldn't be able to come today. You're so beautiful. Kong Sengyi's personality was more unrestrained. Now that he saw Shimin Li, he blushed when she called him future sister-in-law. You must be Li Er. I heard about it from your brother. Knowing that you're still alive, he's so happy. This is a gift for you. It was prepared in a hurry. I hope you don't mind. Kong Sengyi took out a box and passed it to Shimin Li. Wow, I really have a gift for you. Shimin Li happily opened the box. There was a pair of emerald green bracelets lying inside. This bracelet has a defensive function. It can withstand 3 attacks from a monarch-ranked expert. Shimin Feng explained from the side. Shimin Li's strength was lower now. Giving her something like this was very practical for her. She kept the box and said happily, Thank you, future sister-in-law. Secmaster, the banquet is about to start. Shimin Chi walked over and said, when is your friend coming? One is coming soon. I don't know if the other will come. Sima Yue said, that person's whereabouts are uncertain. I don't know if I can contact him. We'll start when Qin Mo comes. Yue, I'm not happy with what you said. You're establishing a sect. Of course I have to come. The space tunnel opened again. Qin Mo and Third Mo, who they had lost contact with for a long time, came out. After they came out, the space tunnel didn't close. This meant that there were still people coming out. Chapter 9:27. Is there anyone else coming? Sima Yue asked curiously. Of course there is. A burst of hearty laughter came from inside. Sima Yue's eyes lit up when she heard the voice. She shouted in surprise, Godfather! Good. You still haven't forgotten your foster father. Wu Lamai's voice came from inside, followed by a group of people walking out. Godfather, godmother, brother, why are you here? Sima Yue flew towards them. Why didn't you inform us about such an important matter like establishing a sect? If Third Mo wasn't with us, we wouldn't even know about this. Wu La Air approached. That's right, little sister. You're in the wrong, Wu La Xiao said. Yes, it's my fault for this matter. However, I didn't think it was anything important, so I didn't dare to trouble you to come all the way here. I was wrong. I'll let my brothers punish me later. How about that? Sima Yue held Shui Qingman's hand and said, Godmother, how have you been recently? You don't look too good. I'll take a look at you later. PFFF. Wu La Xiao and the others laughed and said, Mother isn't sick or injured. It's just that there's a baby in her stomach. godmother is pregnant? Sima Yue looked at Shui Qing Man in surprise. Shui Qing Man nodded. Mother, since you're pregnant, you should be recuperating in the Nine-Star Ocean. Why are you here? You're making your daughter feel guilty. Sima Yue quickly helped her to a seat below. They all wanted to come as soon as they received your message. You haven't come back to see us for a long time, so I missed you. Shui Qing Man said, Moreover, I haven't seen how the people on the mainland look like, so I wanted to take a look. Let me check on you. Sima Yue took her hand and was relieved after making sure that she was fine. I already said that I'm fine. I'm just a little tired. I'll be fine after some rest. Shui Qing Man said gently. Tin Sister, we know that you are establishing a sect today. We came in a hurry and did not prepare any congratulatory gifts. We could only bring you some things from the bottom of the sea. Wu La Lu said. The Prime Minister walked up and passed a few space containers to Sima Yue, saying, Congratulations to the 10th Princess for establishing your sect. Thank you, Godfather, Godmother, and brothers. Thank you, Prime Minister. Sima Yue took it and scanned it with her spiritual awareness. When she saw what was inside, she couldn't help but ask, We didn't move all your treasuries here, did you? Of course not. We only moved 2 of the bigger ones, Wu Laxiu said. Only 2. Sima Yue's lips twitched. She knew about their treasure trove. Even the small one could be said to be as rich as a country. Now, they even brought in 2 big ones. Anyway, those things are just sitting there. Your expenses for establishing a sect must be huge. Giving you more things is also a token of our sincerity. Don't worry about it. Wu La Lu said, That's right. You are our 10th princess. How can you be so shabby after establishing a sect? Wu La Bo said, Then I'll have to thank Godfather, Godmother, and brothers. Sima Yue said with a smile. Shimin-Chi and the rest were shocked by this sudden scene. 10th princess? What 10th princess? This is the king and queen of the Violet Water Dragon clan of the Nine-Star Ocean. There are also 9 princes. The Dragon King took in Yue as his goddaughter, so she is their 10th princess. Shimin Feng explained to everyone. Elder Mu was shocked. He knew about the Nine-Star Ocean and the Violet Water Dragon clan. He didn't expect Yue to be the princess of the Violet Water Dragon clan. Aya, why are you giving gifts so quickly? Third Mo shouted, Your gifts are so big. How can I present my things? All right, you should wait for me first. Otherwise, if you give it to me, I'll feel embarrassed. Qin Mo said, No way. You have a rich family background. I don't want to be behind you. Third Mo said as he took out a box and passed it to Sima Yue. Here, this is for you. Congratulations on establishing the sect. It's a pity that I can't join. Otherwise, I don't be the vice sect leader. Sima Yue opened the box and saw that there was a small map inside. There was a red line on it. She took it out to take a look and was shocked. What is this? Wulali came over. He couldn't understand the map and asked. This is a mineral vein. Sima Yue said, You brat, you must be having a lot of fun finding mineral veins. You give out a mineral vein right away. SSSA mineral vein. Everyone was confused. What did a mineral vein mean? Yue only had 1 mineral vein when she established the sect. This brat gave her 1? Don't be so shocked. It's not like you can't tell that this mineral vein isn't very big. Third Mo said, I found this by chance in the past. It's already dispersed. You could go ahead and dig. Thanks. Sima Yue smiled as she kept the map. Qin Mo glared at Third Mo. I told you not to go first. You brat. Hee hee. Even if you don't give anything, Yue won't say anything. Third Mo smiled as he sat at the side. Although it's a little embarrassing, since I've prepared it, it's a token of my appreciation. Qin Mo took out a box and gave it to her. Third Mo blinked. It was such a small box. What good stuff could he give? Did this brat copy him and give her a piece of paper? Sima Yue opened it. There was indeed paper inside. However, it wasn't a single piece of paper like Third Mo thought. It was a thick stack. Sima Yue took out the paper and looked at it. She looked at Qin Mo in shock. These are all my own forces. It has nothing to do with the clan. Qin Mo said. Third Mo came over and saw the paper. He said, Oh my good fellow. You gave the entire memory restaurant to Yue? There are even shops, and shops below. Damn, they're all shops. Bratchin, you have a few thousand shops. You gave them all away? Chinamo took back the contract and put it in the box. He said, if you want to develop a force, you need all these. Thank you, Sima US said gratefully. The things they gave were very practical. It was also what she lacked the most besides manpower. If she did it herself, it wasn't that she couldn't do it. However, it would take a lot of money and energy. Moreover, this kind of spending would scare a group of people to death, who would give away a mine or a few thousand shops to someone else. Oh my, their little hearts were about to jump out. They felt more and more that Yoyue's friends were all here to scare people. All right, let's begin, Sima Yue said. Since everyone is gathered here today, it can be considered that our sect is officially established. The sect leader is Feng Er. There are also a few halls below. We have alchemy, weapon refining, beast taming, and arrays. Later on, we'll see which one everyone knows. If you don't know any, then you'll be a disciple of our storm hall. There was a sudden movement in the air, interrupting Sima Yue's words. Chapter 928. Read 336. Sima Yue raised her head and looked over. There were movements in the space there. Someone else is coming? Third, Mo asked. Sima Yue shook her head. I didn't inform anyone else. Then who is it? Could it be that someone just happened to pass by and bumped into them? What a coincidence. Shimin Feng glanced at Sima Yue. She was looking at the space. I think we should see an array formation next time, one that prevents those people from breaking through space. Otherwise, it will be too dangerous in the future. She pondered. Normal people wouldn't dare to casually come in. There's a layer of poisonous miasma outside. If they came in, they wouldn't be able to endure the poison. Shimin Chi said. It's safer to have one, Sima Yue said. I'm really curious. Who is it this time? You'll know when you get here. They're out. Just as Sima Yue finished her sentence, an adult and a child came out from inside. Oh, there are quite a few people here. Her eyes narrowed when she saw the two of them. Why are you here? I heard that you're going to establish a sect, so I came to take a look. Did I catch up? Shi Qiu Shuang asked. Just started. Sima Yue said. Here, a present. Shi Qianji gave him a spatial ring, and the reward from last time. Sima Yue scanned the room and saw the generous rewards. She smiled and said, Since you're here, you're my guest. Please. Shi Qiu Shuang saw them like this and knew that they had already started. She didn't say much and followed Feng Ji and the others to take up the position. Tenth sister, who are they? Wu Laxiu didn't think it was rude to ask in front of everyone. They are a force from the inner regions. Sima Yue said, My friend, they are here to celebrate with us. This antidote was developed by that guy together with me. Inner circle. Feng Kai and the rest felt that their boss really had a wide range of friends. What they didn't know was that if news of Yue establishing a sect got out, the situation wouldn't be like this. There's more. There was still movement in the space. Could it be that someone else was coming? This time, however, the space did not open. Instead, a woman appeared out of thin air. None of the people present recognized this woman. How powerful was she to be able to appear here directly? Sima Yue did not know this person, but she recognized her attire. Mississippi, the lady came to Sima Yue and nodded slightly. Aunt, did something happen to Aunt Feng? Sima Yue asked worriedly. She quickly went through Feng Ruyan's condition in her mind. That shouldn't be the case. Feng Ruyan's condition was still too early to deteriorate. The woman saw the sincere concern in Sima Yue's eyes and said, Master is fine. She knows that you are establishing your sect today, which is a joyous occasion. She asked me to send you a gift. She took out a box and handed it to Sima Yue, saying, Master said not to open it before you reach the monarch rank. How did Aunt Feng know that there would be a joyous occasion today? Sima Yue placed the gift down and asked curiously, You have Master's soul imprint in your body. As long as Master wills it, she will know about your condition. The woman said, However, it will consume a lot of energy every time. This time, it was a coincidence that she found out about your condition. She could still sense the soul imprint after it left her body. Sima Yue was shocked. A normal soul imprint would only be sensed after the soul imprint was consumed or the host was lost. However, Feng Ruyin could sense it now. Master said to tell you not to think too much. She will not pay special attention to you and will not interfere with your life. The woman said, I understand. Sima Yue nodded. Aunt, please help me pass a message to Aunt Feng to thank her for the gift. To Feng Ruyin, she was not worth her time. If she really wanted to spy on her, she did not have to tell her. Master said that if Miss wants to do anything, you can do it. Even if you want to poke a hole in the sky, the Feng people will be behind you. The aunt said with a smile. Feng Ruyin was talking about the time when she was surrounded. I understand. Sima Yue said, Aunt, sit down and eat some food. No, Master is waiting for me to report back. The aunt said, then I will have to trouble Aunt to bring something back for Aunt Feng. Sima Yue took out a jade bottle. The things inside, 1 drop for a god ranked and 3 drops for a monarch ranked. I don't know what power Aunt Feng is from, but it should have some effect on her body. After the aunt took the item, she did not look at what it was. She nodded at Sima Yue and disappeared in front of everyone. Knowing that she had left, everyone regained their senses from the strong pressure. This person is so powerful. Yu Si sighed. The last time they were in the dark forest, they saw Feng Ruyin's soul imprint. At that time, Sima Yue called her Aunt Feng. The master that this person was talking about should be her. The people around that woman were so powerful. Shi Qiu Shuang and Shi Qian Ji looked at each other. This person who appeared, does Senior know? He should be from those that we have heard of. So powerful. The power behind him is definitely not weak. At least, he is much more powerful than us. Yes, it seems that this power will definitely develop in the future. Shi Qianji said faintly. Not to mention others, just the people who came to congratulate her, and the gifts they gave were not something that ordinary people could do. The development of one's strength sometimes depended on the support of one's connections. And she never lacked this. Sima Yue handed the box that Feng Ruyin gave to Little Spirit to keep. Then she turned around and said to everyone, let's continue. Until the end of the banquet, everyone still had not recovered from the shock of today. Although there were not many people who came to witness, and although they did not have many members now, everyone believed that they would develop. The sect was officially established, and the celebration lasted until midnight. Everyone toasted each other, and in the end, those who were drunk directly fell to the ground and fell asleep. In the valley, there were many figures lying in a disorderly manner. Sima Yu and Wu Lingyu sat on the hillside and looked at the many people who were drunk but still continued to drink. A satisfied smile hung on the corner of their lips. The sect is finally established. Sima Yu sighed and sighed. What we need to do now is to recruit people and increase our strength. Speaking of which, senior brother, you're also a guest. Why didn't you give me a gift? She was very happy receiving gifts today, and only now did she remember that the people around her had not given her a gift. Wu Lingyu looked at her and winked at her, saying, how about giving me to you as a gift? Che, no sincerity. After Sima Yue finished speaking, her lips were immediately covered. I am serious. Chapter 929. By the time Wu Lingyu released her, her lips were already red and swollen from his kiss. This is not a gift. She glared at him unhappily. I told you, I'm giving myself to you. Wu Lingyu chuckled. Rejected. Sima Yue tilted her head and refused to look at him. All right, since you don't like this gift, let's change it to something tackier. Wu Lingyu took out a box and opened it. Inside was an exquisite ring with a fiery red gem embedded in it. Sima Yue was stunned. Why did this guy take this out? Wu Lingyu took out the ring, pulled up her left hand, and put it on her middle finger. The ring was a little big, and when it was put on her finger, it automatically shrank. Are you proposing to me? Sima Yue did not evade. Aren't you going to ask if I'm willing? You're someone who won't change your mind once you've made up your mind. I'm already yours, Wu Lingyu said ambiguously. Come on, don't say that. Sima Yue said. You make it sound like I did something to you. Isn't that so? Wu Lingyu looked at her innocently. We agreed before that I would be your man. You agreed? You can't go back on your word. Besides, what did you do to me? When did I do anything to you? Sima Yue glared at her. This guy was spouting nonsense. You stripped me naked back then. Wu Lingyu said, Tell me, how many times have you stripped me naked? I was unconscious at that time. How would I know if you did anything to me? Even if you did something to me, I wouldn't know. Wu Lingyu said, Don't tell me you want to deny it just because my divine sense isn't clear. Sima Yue looked at his seductive and innocent eyes and felt that she could not explain herself to him. Since he couldn't explain himself, he might as well not say anything at all. Instead, he sent a slap over. Ha! Sima Yue was stunned and stared at him. Why didn't you dodge? If I dodge, you won't be able to hit me, right? Wu Lingyu replied. Sima Yue looked at him. He really lost him. All right. Wu Lingyu held her hand and said, Take a good look at this ring. Sima Yue was puzzled. She looked at the ring again, but did not find any mechanism. Fantasy ring? That's not it either. She looked at it and didn't find anything different. Look at that gem, Wu Lingyu said. Sima Yue looked at it for a while and still could not see anything. Hence, she used her divine sense to explore it. There was a blood-red seed inside the ruby. What is this? Sima Yue exited and asked in surprise. From the outside, it was impossible to discover this seed. This gem almost completely covered its aura. Plus, it was the same red color. Hence, if Wu Lingyu didn't let her look, she wouldn't have discovered it. Wu Lingyu casually set up a small enchantment and enveloped the two of them. Then, he said, Do you still remember the auction in Feng City? Feng City auction? Sima Yue was stunned. Then, she nodded and said, I remember. It was at that time that she wanted to find the divine sand. In the end, she didn't manage to find it. Hence, she met Feng Ruyen. At that time, what did the other party want in exchange for the divine sand? Wu Lingyu asked. The divine scar. Sima Yue said. Suddenly, the pain intensified. She looked at Wu Lingyu in disbelief and exclaimed, You're saying that the seed inside is the divine scar? Wu Lingyu looked at her, shocked expression, and nodded. Oh my God. Sima Yue finally understood why he set up the enchantment. Isn't this a legendary item? How did you get it? She simply couldn't believe that this item actually existed. Now it was in her hands. I got it in the past. After I fused with it, I took it back. Wu Lingyu said. He had a place where he kept his treasures. However, only his soul couldn't open it. Wu Lingyu didn't have his memories. Naturally, he didn't know about this item. Sima Yue looked at the ring on her hand. She felt as if she was about to forget to breathe. Her heart was tightly clenched by this little thing. Don't be so nervous. Wu Lingyu said, This thing is with you. No one will know. Also, it's not some divine medicine now. It's just a seed. Is this seed still alive? Sima Yue raised her head and asked. It should be. If you sense it carefully, you can still feel a trace of life inside. Wu Lingyu said, I think it's because of the gemstone outside that it can be passed down until now. Sima Yue thought so too. I'll let Little Spirit try it later. Let's see if he can cultivate it. I'm sure Little Spirit will be very interested. I heard that this seed is rather evil. It needs to be soaked in blood and then planted in the ground. It also needs to be irrigated with blood every day. Wu Lingyu said, This is the only way it won't fly away when it matures. Fly away? Sima Yue was confused. This thing could fly away? God Scar is a divine medicine. Since it's a divine medicine, it has spirituality. It knows the humans will use it to make medicine. When it matures, it will leave the branch and fly away. Wu Lingyu explained, Only when it's irrigated with blood from the beginning can it have some connection with it. It won't reject it so much. I see. Sima Yue looked at the ruby. Divine medicine, Wu Lingyu knocked her head and said, Don't laugh so vulgarly. How am I vulgarly? Sima Yue covered her head. I'm just happy. This is a divine medicine. It said that one divine medicine is worth one life. If it can bear two fruits, then it's 2 lives. Speaking of which, how many fruits can it bear? Divine medicine usually bears 1 fruit. There's no divine medicine in the world that can bear 2 fruits. Wu Lingyu said, are there many divine medicines? Not many. Wu Lingyu said, there are a few in total, and they are all in the hands of the superpowers. But those lost and hidden clans are not very clear. Does the Sage Pavilion have any? Yes. It's in the main pavilion. Wu Lingyu said, where's the main pavilion? Is it where the old guy who covets your body is? Nope. That's the main pavilion that governs the central and outer regions. The real main pavilion is in the inner regions. It's their orders that caused you to only be able to wear female clothes. Wu Lingyu said, however, with your current strength, you don't have to care about this. You're saying that I can change back to female clothes? Sima Yoyue's eyes lit up. Wu Lingyu thought about the way those people looked at her and subconsciously wanted to deny it. But seeing her eyes, he nodded and said, as long as you're willing, I can settle anything for you. You can do it? Sima Yue did not believe him. Don't forget, I used to be the Devil King. My woman, what I need to care about. Wu Lingyu rubbed her head and said dotingly. Chapter 9:30. Sima Yue was satisfied with his answer, but she did not intend to reveal her identity as a woman so soon. As a man, it would be much more convenient for her later actions. This matter will depend on my mood in the future. She said, what kind of divine medicine is that? Speaking of which, it has something to do with you. Wu Lingyu said, the General Pavilion's divine medicine is Phoenix Nirvana. Phoenix Nirvana? Shouldn't such a divine medicine belong to the Phoenix clan? Sima Yue was curious. How did it become the Sage Pavilion's divine medicine? Who said that the Phoenix's Nirvana belongs to the Phoenix clan? Wu Lingyu glanced at her. This divine medicine was left behind by a monarch. However, that monarch had once made a contract with a phoenix. When he was cultivating this divine medicine, he injected the last of his phoenix power into it. That's why it's called Phoenix Nirvana. Isn't that related to the phoenix? Sima Yue rolled her eyes. Is the phoenix's Nirvana also watered with blood? No. Wu Lingyu shook his head. Different divine herbs require different conditions to grow. I've only seen Phoenix Nirvana once, so I don't know who's in charge of it. If you've only seen it once, it's going to be hard to get it, Sima Yue said disappointedly. Wu Lingyu knocked on her head and said, the Sage Pavilion still has some powerful people in the Sage Pavilion. If they went now, not only would they not be able to snatch the item, but they would also be wiped out. Let's talk about it after I recover my strength. I'm just saying, Sima Yue said. She didn't expect him to send the whole world to her. He had his strength, but most of the time, she wanted to rely on her own strength to obtain things. Wu Lingyu looked at her and smiled without saying anything. By the way, with this, I can completely cure Aunt Feng's injury. Sima Yue said, but I don't think this seed is enough. It has to be grown. I've given it to you. You could do whatever you want with it. Wu Lingyu took out a tattered book and said, this is for you too. What's this? Sima Yue took it over. The paper was so fragile that she was afraid that it would break if she touched it. There's information about Divine Scar inside. You might be able to use it. Wu Lingyu said, such ancient data. How did you get it? Sima Yue carefully held the book, her joy overflowing from her words. Compared to the gold, silver, jewels, spirit stones, and crystal stones, the things that Wu Lingyu had given her were much more tempting. It's all in the past. Because they were in the devil realm, they didn't have much use. They were all used as trump cards. I want to look through it before I came back, Wu Lingyu said. All right, even if it was a trump card, it was still very precious. She didn't want to argue with him about this. Yue, what are you doing up there? Come down and drink. Third MO waved at Sima Yue. Today is your big day. I made an exception to drink with Qin MO. But you, the main character, aren't here. What are you? Come down. Wu Lingyu removed the barrier. Sima Yue got up and flew down, saying, since you've broken your rules for me, we must drink until we're drunk today. Tenth sister, what kind of wine is this? Why is it better than the wine from other places? Wu Laxiu staggered over and put his head on Sima Yuyue's shoulder. When he was 2 centimeters away from her shoulder, Sima Yuyue was pulled away. Wu Laxiu almost fell to the ground. Luckily, Wu Lingyu caught him. "Ninth brother, you're already drunk." Sima Yuyue said, "Should I get someone to send you to rest?" "I'm not drunk. I'm just a little dizzy." Wu Laxiu said, "Ninth brother, if Godfather sees you like this, he'll be angry." Sima Yue said, "Father is accompanying mother to rest. He won't see." Wu Laxiu was not afraid. "Hee, do you want a drink? Bring me along?" "Since you want a drink, how can you leave us out?" Shi Qianji also came over. Sima Yue looked around. Shi Qiushuang was sitting quietly on the seat. She did not drink much. Shi Qianji also looked back, saying, "She listened to you. She didn't drink a single drop of wine tonight. She's been drinking the fruit juice you made. Her body is still too weak. She can't drink." Sima Yue said, "That's why she's a little unhappy." Shi Qianji said, "All right, your senior brother gave you a gift." He took out a black metal box and stuffed it into her hands. Sima Yue was stunned. She immediately accepted the gift, saying he knew. Shi Qianji saw that she was only shocked for a moment before accepting the gift, saying, "I thought you wouldn't accept it. Before Master chased him out of the sect, he's still my eldest senior brother. Since that's the case, I'll naturally accept his gift. If he hears your words, he'll probably be very happy." Shi Qianji was happy for Jiang Junxian. Sima Yue raised her wine cup and clinked it with his, saying cheers. She did not want to respond to Shi Qianji's words because she did not know how to say it. Jiang Junxian knew Little Seven's identity, but did not kidnap her. He even poisoned them in Little Black Lotus Realm so that they would not fight. This showed that he valued their friendship. When she thought of this, she was still a bit moved. But when she thought of how he insisted on bringing the Sky Splitter Devil Sword back, she still felt a bit uncomfortable. Shi Qianji smiled and drank the wine in his hand. "Come, let's drink. I remember that you used to have a very good alcohol tolerance. I wonder how it is now." Third Mo pulled Sima Yue over and had her sit at the side. He raised his wine cup and drank with her. "My alcohol tolerance is not bad now. I can't compare to you, but I can still compare to Big Brother Qin. Come, drink." That night, Sima Yue and the rest drank until the sky turned bright. Because Shui Qingman was not feeling well, she went to rest early last night. As a good husband, Wu Lamai naturally accompanied her at all times. When they woke up the next morning, they saw that the entire valley was filled with people hugging wine jars and sleeping on the ground. Foster father, foster mother. Sima Yue was letting people feed everyone pills to sober up. When she saw them coming out, she walked over and greeted them. "Why don't I see your senior brother?" Shui Qingman asked when she saw her. Senior brother still had things to settle, so he left in the latter half of last night. "Foster mother, are you looking for him for something?" Sima Yue asked. "It's nothing much. Didn't I find out about you and him last night? So I wanted to find him to check on you." Shui Qingman said, "I didn't expect him to leave so early." Was this the rhythm of checking on her as a member of her family? Sima Yue could not help but think to herself, "Foster mother, you saw him last night. Let's leave the scolding for another time." She said with a smile, "When I took your pulse yesterday, I found that your body was a bit weak. I'm afraid that pregnancy will be more difficult. Let me take a good look at you today, all right?" Chapter 9:31. Yue, what happened to your adoptive mother? Quick, take a look at her. Wu Lamai panicked when he heard Yue say that Shui Qingman's body wasn't well. "Godfather, there's no need to panic. Godmother is fine for now. I'll have to do a thorough check to know the details." Sima Yue said. "Then quickly give her a checkup." Wu Lamai said, "These days your foster mother feels that being pregnant is different from being pregnant with your 9 brothers. You don't have to be so alarmed." Shui Qingman looked at Wu Lamai's nervous expression and said, "Godmother, let's go into the house. I'll help you hold on for a while." Sima Yue said, "All right." Not far away, Wu La Li and the others heard the commotion and followed in with the drunk Wu La Xiu. "Tenth sister, what happened to Imperial Mother?" I haven't checked yet. Why are all of you here? Sima Yue glanced at them. Don't make a sound. The brothers stopped talking and waited for her results. Seeing her face getting darker and darker, and her eyebrows getting tighter and tighter, everyone's heart sank. When she was done, no one dared to speak when they saw her expression. The atmosphere in the room was a little heavy for a moment. It was Wu Lamai who broke the silence and asked, Yue, how is your adoptive mother? Sima Yue sighed and said, foster mother's injury was delayed for a long time. Although her body has recovered, it's still too early for a female. Pregnancy requires the mother's energy, but the body can't support it. So now the body is a little empty, and the energy can't keep up. Is this serious? Wu La Lu asked. This situation isn't that serious, but we can't underestimate it either. Fortunately, it was discovered early, so it didn't endanger the health of foster mother and the fetus, Sima Yue said. It's just that the treatment is more troublesome and will take some time. How do we treat it? Ural asked. Every day, I will use spiritual energy to recuperate Imperial Mother's body. Then, I will use medicinal cuisine and pills to recuperate. Sima Yue said, Imperial Mother's body is already a little weak, so she can't be nourished directly. She needs to take it slowly. Therefore, foster mother, don't return to the 9-star ocean for the time being. How long will it take? Wu Lali asked. At least half a year. Sima Yue said, it's best if you can raise her until she gives birth. Then Imperial Mother can stay here with 10th sister. Wu Lali said, let's not go back this time. Let's recover first. This time, we'll stay behind. I'll leave the matters of the clan to you and your brothers. Wu Lamai directly decided on what to do next. Shui Qing Man wanted to say something, but she chose to remain silent. She didn't want to joke about herself and the child in her belly, but if she didn't go back, it was impossible for Wu Lamai to go back. The extent to which this guy stuck to her was indescribable. In any case, when Imperial Mother was unconscious in the past, second brother was the one handling the clan's affairs. Wu Labo said, Imperial Father, Imperial Mother, don't worry. There won't be any trouble. Well, since that's the case, you should go back early. If there was anything, he should discuss it with the Prime Minister. If you really can't solve it, contact me. Wu Lamai said, Yes, Father. Then you can go back today. Imperial Father, do you have to chase them away so quickly? Let's wait for Imperial Mother's condition to get better before going back. Wu Lali was more daring and dared to raise an objection. Unfortunately, it wasn't accepted. There's no use for you to stay here. The 9-star ocean isn't peaceful yet. You should hurry back. If those guys attack again, just fight back. There's no need to be merciful. Wu Lamai said, but Imperial Mother's condition, you don't have to worry about adoptive mother's condition. I'll help her recuperate. Sima Yue said, then we'll have to trouble 10th sister. She saved Shui Qing Man the last time and refined so many pills for them. She was a godly doctor in their hearts. When she said that there would be no problem, they were all reassured. Brothers, don't worry. Sima Yue said, have you been fighting all this while? Are there enough pills? If there's not enough, I'll refine some more for you to bring back. There's still a lot left. Wu La Lu said, we took so many back the last time. We didn't fight much after that, so we didn't consume much. When there's no more, we'll ask you for more. That's good too. You have to tell us in advance. Don't wait until there's no more. Sima Yue said, if you want to refine more, it'll take some time. Okay. All right. Hurry back. Wu Lamai said, don't delay Yue from helping Qing Man recuperate. Although they were unwilling, there was indeed something going on in the clan. They couldn't leave no one to oversee things. Hence, they could only return. Hence, the drunk Wula Xiao and the Prime Minister were dragged away by them. When they left, they were still shouting that they wanted to drink more. Adoptive mother, I'll help you with the acupuncture first. Sima Yue said, what about your guests? Do you want to go and greet them? Shui Qing Man asked. No need. They drank too much last night. They're still sobering up. Even if they're sober, phone, and the rest will take care of them. Sima Yue said, adoptive mother, come. Shui Qing Man nodded and chased Wu Lamai out. It wasn't the first time Sima Yue did acupuncture for her. But in the past, she was unconscious. Now that she was pregnant, she was a little nervous. Adoptive mother, you don't have to think too much. Just relax. You'll be fine very soon. Sima Yue comforted. Okay. Sima Yue didn't spend too much time this time. It was done in about half an hour. She helped Shui Qingman put on her clothes and said, I'll refine some pills for you later. Just take the pills and you'll be fine. Will that do? Shui Qingman asked. That won't do. Sima Yue said, the fetus in your womb is a little weak because of the lack of nutrition. I'll use my spiritual energy to nourish it for a period of time every day. So we have to do 3 things every day. That's acupuncture, taking pills, and nourishing with spiritual energy. After half a month, we'll see how it goes. If it's fine, we won't have to do acupuncture anymore. Thank you, child. Shui Qingman said gently. Sima Yue smiled and said, You're the adoptive mother. This child is also my younger brother and sister. You don't have to be so courteous with me. All right, pregnancy is the best time to nourish the fetus. If you nourish it well, your younger brother and sister's talents will be very good in the future. Just like my younger sister. Her too. I nourished them while my mother was pregnant. That's why Li was born with a God-ranked body. Her body is also stronger. Sima Yue said. She just didn't know when the little doe would be able to transform and end the days of absorbing spiritual energy. Chapter 932. Shui Qingman touched her stomach. Her face slowly filled with love. His brothers and sisters are already very powerful. I don't expect anything from him in the future. It's fine as long as he's safe. As long as Godmother takes good care of him, he will definitely be fine. Sima Yue said, But what? Wulamai came in and asked. I have something to do in the next 2 months, so I can't stay here all the time. Sima Yue said, So I'll have to trouble you to stay with me. All right, I also want to take a look around the continent. Shui Qingman said. It's not impossible, Sima Yue said, but foster mother needs to rest most of the time, so she can't move around too much. Also, we can't use the teleportation array. The compression of space will hurt the child. Does that mean I can't go with you? Shui Qingman was a little disappointed. For the sake of you and the child, just bear with it. When the child comes out, I'll walk around with you. How about that? Wulamai couldn't bear to see her expression and comforted her. I have to give you acupuncture treatment every day. Of course, I have to be with Godmother. Sima Yue said, I have an idea. What is it? Sima Yue took out a small door and brought the 2 people to Little Black Lotus Realm. This is my little realm. I've already developed a portion of it. Sima Yue said, if foster mother stays here, as long as I have this door, foster mother will be able to go anywhere. It's just that there's no one here, so I'll have to trouble foster mother. Wow, you actually have a little realm like this? Not bad. There's nothing wrong with staying here. Shui Qingman smiled as she looked at Sima Yue with a loving gaze. Normally, this kind of small realm would not tell outsiders, but she did not hesitate to tell them. This kind of heart made her very happy. I will create a water body here so that you can live in the water too. Sima Yue said, You can do that? Wulamai said in surprise. Yes, this is my little realm. It can be done in places that are developed. Those gray areas are the ones that I can't enter yet. Sima Yue said. Then let's see how you do it. Shui Qingman looked at her curiously. Sima Yue smiled. Using her mind, she dug a 10-kilometer-long puddle on the ground. Is this length okay? It's done, Shui Qingman said. Normally, they wouldn't need such a wide range. What about the water? Go outside and get it. I remember there was a small body of water nearby. Sima Yue smiled and went out. After a while, Shui Qingman and the rest saw water falling from the sky into the puddle. Following them were some aquatic creatures. Before those aquatic creatures could figure out what was going on, this place had already changed. Sima Yue appeared with a smile and said, Mother, how was it? Not bad. Shui Qingman looked at the puddle with satisfaction. Although it can't be compared to the 9-star ocean, it's quieter here. It's also more convenient for my treatment. Sima Yue said, "Mother, I'll have to trouble you to stay here. It's already not bad." Shui Qingman held her hand. "You've already put in a lot of effort. It's easier for me to operate here. I won't be disturbed." Sima Yue touched Shui Qingman's stomach. "It's very weak now. It can't be stimulated. If it's interrupted during the treatment, it will be harmful to it. It will definitely know that it has such a good sister like you." "Ah, I'll have a good younger brother and sister too." Sima Yue said, "Mother, if you have nothing to do outside, you can stay here." "All right. King, do you have anything else?" Wu Lamai shook his head. His job was to accompany her. Other things didn't matter. "Then you can stay here. I'll replenish the baby's spiritual energy for today. Then I'll go and develop the pill." "All right." Sima Yue let Shui Qingman go into the water and transform into her original form. Then she went to her stomach and found the position of the baby. She covered it with her hand and transferred her spiritual energy into her body. She found the little life and wrapped it up. After the little life came into contact with her spiritual power, it moved comfortably. After a while, Sima Yue retracted her hand and said, "I left a part of my spiritual energy to wrap it up. I'll continue it tomorrow." Wu Lamai saw that she looked a little tired. Thinking that she still had things to settle, he suggested, "Why don't you let me do the daily transfer of spiritual energy?" Sima Yue shook her head and said, "Father's spiritual energy is different from mine. My spiritual energy has a healing effect. Father's spiritual energy is more domineering. So it's not suitable for Father to transfer spiritual energy to the baby. But Father can transfer some to Mother. Every day, he can help Mother move around her body and give her some strength." They were like this. The older one was protecting the older one, and the younger one was protecting the younger one. "That's fine too," Wu Lamai said. "Don't be too tired." Shui Qingman said with heartache. "Mother, don't worry. I won't mess around. After all, this is a long-term thing. If I'm too tired today, how can I continue tomorrow?" Sima Yue smiled. "Mother, you need a rest now. That way, the baby will be more comfortable. I'll go and create some pills for you. There's someone outside looking for me. I'll go out for a while." "Okay, go ahead," Shui Qingman said. "Okay." Sima Yue went out and saw Shimin Li calling her. "Leah, big sister." Leah saw Sima Yue come out and knew that she must have gone to the little realm or spirit pagoda. She wasn't surprised. "What's the matter?" Sima Yue asked. "It's Shi Qianji and his junior sister. They said that they have something to do and have to go back. They want to say goodbye to you," Shimin Li said. "They're leaving? Where?" "They're outside." Sima Yue went out and saw Shi Qiushuang and Shi Qianji talking in the valley below. They felt that she came out of the courtyard and looked over. "You're leaving?" Sima Yue walked over and asked. "Yeah, we came here behind Master and the rest back. Something will happen if we're out for too long." Shi Qianji said, "The last time you killed our poison master, it caused our sect to be in chaos for a period of time. You can't blame me for that." Sima Yue touched her nose. "Who asked that guy to have bad intentions?" "Hee hee." Shi Qiushuang and the rest laughed. "That's right. He deserved to die. Your body still needs to be nourished. You definitely don't lack pills. You just have to be careful," Sima Yue reminded. "Okay, I know." Shi Qiushuang nodded. "I think I won't be able to come back for a while. Go to the inner region early. I'll wait for you there." "Okay." Shi Qianji opened the space tunnel. The two of them waved at her and turned to go in. Sima Yue turned around and saw Third Mo looking at her from the mountain. Chapter 9:33. Sima Yue raised her head and looked at him as he walked over slowly. Needless to say, she knew what he was thinking from the look in his eyes. "You're leaving too?" "Yes." Third Mo nodded. "I haven't found the thing I'm looking for, so I have to continue. In the Nine-Star Ocean, I used to think that it was, but later on I realized that it wasn't." Third Mo said, "What are you looking for? Tell me, and I might be able to help you." Sima Yue said. Third Mo shook his head. "You're already very busy. Let me handle my own matters. If there's anything you need me to do, just tell me. Sima Yue looked at him. Since he didn't want to say anything, she didn't ask. Amen. I'll definitely tell you if I need anything. Third Mo said, you should practice your pill refining skills more. Who knows, I might ask you to refine pills in the future. All right, I didn't expect that guy to lure you away so easily. Although I don't like him very much, you can ask him to do more for you if you need anything. Don't think that you're so easy to get. Do you understand? All right, if you two get married in the future, I want to attend as part of your family. All right. Third Mo saw that she only smiled and agreed. He reached out and patted her head, saying, I'm leaving. Contact me if you need anything. Take care. Sima Yue felt a little sad as she watched him open the spatial tunnel and walk in. Yue. Qin Mo brought his men over. When Sima Yue saw that everyone was here, she said, Big brother Qin, are you leaving too? Yes, I'm sorry. I wanted to accompany you for a few more days. I know you're busy. It's okay. Sima Yue said, when you're done with your work, we'll meet again. Yes. I'll take my leave then. The old man beside Qin Mo opened a spatial tunnel. Just as Qin Mo was about to enter, he thought of something. He turned around and said, if he bullies you, tell me. I will help you beat him up. Okay. Sima Yue smiled and nodded. Seeing her nod, he then left with his men. Has everyone left? Shimonli saw that Sima Yue had returned after a month and asked. Yes, they've all left. Sima Yue said, where's Elder Mu? Second brother and future sister-in-law sent him away early in the morning. Shimonli said, so most of the guests have left. What should we do next? In a sect, there were always some things that needed to be done, but no one had told her about them. Your task now is to absorb as much as you can and let your dough take shape as soon as possible. Sima Yue said, we'll take care of the rest. But you'll be very busy. Didn't we talk about it last night? Feng Uncle Chi, Auntie, and third mother, everyone will deal with different things. Just focus on your cultivation. We will only be able to explore the higher realms when we are strong enough. Sima Yue said, yes, I will do my best. I'm going into seclusion to refine pills today. Tell them not to disturb me. Sima Yue said, all right, I'll go tell everyone. After Shimonli left, Sima Yue set up a barrier in the house before entering the spirit pagoda. She refined all the pills that Shui Qingman needed during this period of time before going out. She went to Little Black Lotus Realm and passed the pills to them. When she came out, she was finally done with today's matters, and the sky was already dark. She cracked her neck and removed the barrier to go out and look for everyone. Fatty Chu and the rest were gathered together to eat. After a day of rest, the hangover from last night had already disappeared, and they were all very energetic. Yue, come quickly. We're just about to start eating. Fatty Chu waved at her. Sima Yue walked over and sat beside Bei Gong Tang, saying, luckily I made it in time. Otherwise, this delicacy would have passed me by. Bei Gong Tang gave her a skewer of barbecued meat, saying, the food you make is the best. How can you miss it? You guys make different ones. Sima Yue took a bite and it tasted delicious. Yue, we were too busy yesterday and there's something we didn't tell you. Wei Ziqi said. What's the matter? Sima Yue asked when she saw their serious expressions. The sect said that a little realm will be opened soon. Those in the top 500 of the billboard can enter. Sima Yue said, we plan to go in. All right. Sima Yue didn't think much of it. The little realm is rich in spirit energy, and there are many opportunities. It'll be good for you guys to go in and cultivate. Of course we have to go, but what are the requirements of the little realm? Only those below the divine saint rank can enter. Wei Ziqi said, so you can't go. You all want to go? Sima Yue glanced at everyone. Then I'll wait here for you guys to come out. You don't have to care about the sex matters now. It's more important to work hard to raise your own strength. And to develop the sect, it's not something that can be done in a day. Although we've been officially established, we still need some time to develop. Right. How long will you guys be gone? It's said that the little realm can be opened for 10 years. 10 years, that's okay. It'll be over quickly if you cultivate. Sima Yue said, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys come out in 10 years. We're looking forward to it too. When are you leaving? The sect said that we'll leave in 10 days. You guys still have to go back to the sect to prepare. Excluding the time spent on the road, it's best that you guys leave tomorrow. Sima Yue said. We're planning to go back tomorrow. All right. Then I wish all of you good luck in obtaining great opportunities. You'll all break through to the Divine Saint rank when you come out. Cheers. Cheers. Wu Lingyu didn't come back, so when they left on the second day, they used a teleportation array. Mao San Quan knew that they were coming to the central regions and gave them a temporary teleportation array to return to the sect directly. It's only been 2 days, and these guys are going back. Little Seven said, It's weird not seeing them for so long. Can't bear to see them leave. Sima Yue hugged her shoulder. 10 years will pass quickly. They'll be back after a few closed-door cultivation. We don't have time to go into closed-door cultivation. Little Seven said, We're going to recruit people. You only have a little more than 2 months left. It's easy to recruit people. Sima Yue said, Once we've settled everything here, we'll go recruit people. Is there anything else? Little Seven asked. Yes, we'll go and choose a place to release the Urbane. Let's go, we'll choose a place. All right. Are we going to recruit people after releasing the Urbane? Where are we going to recruit people? Are we going to use force to conquer them? You, don't worry. I'll beat them up until they're kneeling on the ground and singing conquer. Ha ha ha. Little Seven, girls should be virtuous. Chapter 9:34. Read 3:36. Many days later, Sima Yue held Little Seven's hand, followed by Feng Kai and Shi Chun. They appeared in front of City Gate. The guard of the Feng clan came out before she left, saying that they must follow her wherever she went and protect her safety. Sima Yue could not win against them and could only keep them in her little realm. This time, all of them were kept in her little realm. Feng 1, Feng 2, and the rest did not have to fight over who would stay by her side. Boss, this is Blood Fiend City. Shi Chan said, As long as we enter the city gates, we have to follow the rules here. This is the rule of the Blood Fiend City's city lord? Sima Yue asked. No, this is a rule that everyone agrees to. If anyone dares to not abide by the rules, the entire city will not tolerate him. Shi Chan said. Blood Fiend City's name is bloody, but no one is allowed to kill inside. This rule is weird. Little Seven said. This Blood Fiend City stands outside of all the powerhouses and is not restricted by any powerhouses. Those who are being chased will also be protected here. As long as they don't leave this city, they won't be chased by their enemies. Feng Ji said, So the people here are basically all enemies. Why didn't those enemies chase after him when they came here? Little Seven didn't understand. If it was me, even if he escaped inside, I would kill him. The city lord of Blood Fiend City had always been very mysterious, and not many people had seen them before. However, they were very strong. There was once someone who wanted to kill his own enemy and didn't care about the rules here and insisted that Blood Fiend City hand over the person. He even gathered a lot of forces and wanted to forcefully attack the city, but in the end, he left with his tail between his legs. Feng Kai said, So powerful? That was 1,000 years ago. But since then, no one has dared to come here and cause trouble. When those fugitives enter this place, it's like entering a sturdy cage. Shi Chan said, A sturdy cage? Sima Yue looked at him. Why didn't you come here back then? We've been here before. We've lived here for a while. After that, he left again. Shi Chan said, Why did you leave? There's no freedom here. Shi Chan said, People are trapped here for their whole lives. That kind of feeling is very uncomfortable. Furthermore, and what? I can't increase my strength here. Unable to increase his strength? That's right. No matter how you cultivate, your strength won't increase. How strong were you when you entered this place 100 years ago? 100 years later, you are still the same. You won't grow. There's such a strange thing? Why? I don't know. Perhaps being unable to improve their strength for the rest of their lives is the price of these people's survival. Feng Kai said, A deal. Sima Yue smiled with interest. Let's go. Let's take a look at the Blood Fiend City. The four of them arrived at the city gate. There were no soldiers guarding it, but the city gate was tightly shut. Chun took out 10 high-grade crystal stones and placed them in a secret groove on the city wall. After the secret groove was absorbed, the city gate slowly opened. So magical. Little Seven looked up at the door and widened her eyes in shock. There's always been no one managing this place. If you want to go in, you just need to put a high-grade crystal stone here. Chun explained. So powerful. Little Seven went to touch the door, but she didn't find anything different. Let's go in. Feng Kai said to Sima Yue, who was in a daze. Sima Yue retracted her gaze from the city gate and nodded to Feng Kai. All right. They entered the city, and the city gates immediately slammed shut. Hearing the dull sound, Sima Yue subconsciously furrowed her eyebrows. Brother Feng Kai, are we going to recruit people now? Little Seven asked. It's morning now, and no one is out yet. We need to find an inn to rest. Feng Kai said. Then we'll come out at night? How are we going to recruit people? Directly? You'll know at night. Feng Kai smiled and said, We can't discuss this matter here. We'll be beaten up. Someone wants to beat me? All right, let him come. Feng Kai's face was filled with black lines, as he had a feeling that he couldn't communicate with her. Sima Yue shook her head and held Little Seven's hand, saying, Let's go, we'll find an inn to stay in. We had a friend when we were living here in the past who happened to own an inn. Let's go there. Feng Kai said. Okay. They walked in the city for 2 hours before arriving at the inn. Here, many people live here, so there are very few inns. The inn we're going to is a little old, but it's the closest one to here. Feng Kai explained, although the owner of the inn looks a little scary and his temper isn't very good, once he has set his mind on someone, he will treat them with all his heart. We're here. Sima Yue raised her head and looked at the so-called inn. It was a wooden house that had been weathered. Only half of the inn's signboard was left, and it was still hanging crookedly on the door. There was a hole in one of the old wooden doors, while the other one was blown by the wind and fell to the ground, breaking into pieces. This was really a little old. A man in hemp clothes with the left side of his face completely burnt came out and threw the few pieces of wood to one side, saying, Really, what kind of evil wind is blowing so early in the morning? I told you to change the door earlier, but you were lazy. Now the wind helped you change it. Feng Kai crossed his arms and looked at the man as he said. That man saw Feng Kai and the rest and raised his eyebrows in surprise, saying, I was wondering why the door would fall, so it was you guys who did it. After leaving for so many years, why did you come back? We came back for some matters. Chun said, Old Bai, do you still have a room here? Bai Sheng glanced at Sima Yue and the rest, saying, Since when did I not have a room here? Come in. Sima Yue and Little Seven went in, thinking that they would see a very sloppy inn, but they didn't expect that although the things here were old, they were very clean. Why is it just the two of you? Where are your brothers? Bai Sheng went behind the counter and took out an old book, asking without raising his head. Outside, Chun said. Bai Sheng looked at his book and raised his head to ask, How many of you are staying here? There are 4 of us. 2 rooms will do. Feng Kai said, 4 of us. How is 2 rooms enough? The rooms here are so expensive. If there are 2 more rooms, wouldn't it give you more chances to suck our blood? Feng Kai raised his eyebrows. Unless you give it to us for free, then you better have 2 rooms. Bai Sheng said, The 2 rooms at the end of the 2nd floor. Go there yourself. Sima Yue saw that he closed the book and was preparing to lie down on the chaise lounge at the back. She looked at Feng Kai suspiciously. Did the shopkeeper miss out on something? You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.